Yes, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whoever you are. And don't worry, later on we will find out why LUBO has 6 large electrical tapes in his background. We'll find out what he's planning on using that for. We don't know. Big up to him. Big up to Manny. Happy Friday, guys. It's North London Derby weekend. I don't know if that's a good thing at the moment or not. Chaps, how are you? Just for your information, I am eating a ham and cheese panini. So if it looks rude, it is what it is. I'm hungry. How are you both?
Yeah, good, thanks. By the way, Lee, I've never owned a laptop in my life. Let me just answer that in the comments, first of all. Blackberries, remember them? Remember the Blackberry? Used to have one of those, and now I use an iPhone and a computer screen. So, morning, Connor.
Yeah,
all
come
good
on,
today.
Connor. If you're free, Connor, just message me.
Can't wait to lose on Sunday. Get this weekend out of the way.
Well, I'm good, man. I'm good. At work, got an hour spare, so I decided let me jump on and share a screen with my fellow Ange lover, LUBO, who we've taken our bromance from the stream to the group chats. So I said, why not?
I love him like I love Arsenal. Yeah.
Do you know what? The number of messages I wake up to, it doesn't matter what I post about. Spurs in the transfer market, Spurs results, Spurs this, Harry Kane, son. Somebody always finds a way to bring it back to Ange. I am so bored of it. But Ange, I'm like, oh my God, I was talking about Harry Kane. Harry Kane didn't even play under Ange. Guys, it is North London Derby weekend, and we will milk it to death. Look, I don't know how I feel at the moment, like in terms of it's been a 2-week break, another 2-week break, guys, and these breaks are driving me insane. We're good away, but Arsenal are the best team in the country, and I hate to say it, guys, and I know no one wants to say it, but they are. They are clear at the top of the Premier League. They've lost 1 game in 4 months, and that was away at Anfield to a, if anyone remembers, it was an absolute stunning free kick from Szoboszlai. How are you guys feeling about this at the moment? Is this a good time to be playing them lot? Is this a bad time? Is there ever a good time?
Go on, LUBO. Give us some confidence.
I think it's too soon in the Frank tenure to be thinking about going to the Emirates with a squad that's injury ravaged, unbalanced, missing players in key positions, and they are playing. They're top of the table. So, what do we expect? I think we're 3 months into the season. It's not going to happen this time. Maybe in a couple of years we build nicely, we bring in the right players. Then in 2 years' time we'll be going to the Emirates and we'll go there. Hopefully thinking we've got a good side with the chance of being competitive for the 90 minutes or so. So for me, unfortunately, it's too soon. The odds are against us. If we get a result, it'll be the best result of the season. That's for sure. It'll be even better if we can win there. That'll be a better result than winning at City in August.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. I think from my perspective, I think if there is any game which is set up for how Frank would love, it's this one, right? Because we're going to the Emirates. Not, I don't think anybody is going to expect us to dominate the ball, dominate the game, put pressure on the game. It's nothing like that. I would be very, very, very happy for us to go there, absolutely stink the place up, right? With the massive low block of low blocks, and come back with even a draw is a massive dent in their title race and title credentials, especially if City were to win at Newcastle tomorrow. So listen, I think from the perspective of what Luba is saying, I absolutely agree with him. It is too soon for us to go there and impose ourselves, if we ever will impose ourselves. I've seen better teams, better Spurs teams go there and absolutely crumble. So all I want is fight. Just fight for everything, and let's see what that gives us. If that gives us a 0-0, a 1-1, I will absolutely bite your hand off for it. So, and they've got some major injuries. They struggle in open play, and the person who nods in and the flick-ons and the goals in what's his name, the defender Gabriel is operated for 1 to 2 months. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Or Arsenal, they'll have to play Mosquera or Hincapi. Poor them.
Well, they've started already setting up the excuses. I don't know whether you've been listening to their content creators.
Manny, right? Let me tell you this. By the way, just quickly before I tell you this, 2 bits of breaking news. The first bit of breaking news on Sky Sports is that Cole Palmer has a broken toe, so he will miss the next 3 games. And the second bit of news is fantastic news for Lubo, who is a huge fan of this person. Mark Robbins has just signed a new contract extension at Stoke until 2029. We all know Lubo loves Mark Robbins because of the way he's treated Jamie Donnelly in these first 4 months.
So who should I say took Northern Ireland into the playoffs, I think, this week? Mr. Donnelly?
Hey? Just so, Manny, off the back of what you said there. So this week I did some filming for gambling.com. Sorry for anyone that doesn't like gambling. And it was me and Troops, you know, the Arsenal creator.
Yeah.
Right? So it was me and Troops. And the first segment was just they set me up to fail. It was right. Let's do a combined 11, argue it, and I was like,
is this out? By the way, is this out?
Not yet. It's coming out. I think it's coming out today or tomorrow. Cool. I managed to get Van der Ven in there. Anyway, and Troop started giving it the old Odegaard's out, Gabriel's out. And I was like, there's not a chance you're going to do. There is not a chance you're going to do this to me, right? There is not a chance. We've got 11 players out injured, and like when you look at it, Mwani, Solanke, Kulusevski, Maddison. We're talking about goals and creativity. But Manny, you're right. Better teams have gone to Arsenal. Top teams have gone to Arsenal, completely wilted. I've seen us lose there 5-2, 5-1. I've seen we had that game under Poch where I want to say Lubo will remember this. He's got a brilliant memory. Didn't we go there and for some reason he dropped out of Alderweireld and played 1/4 at centre half, and I think Aubameyang grabbed a couple. We got beat 4-1. Do you remember that?
Genuinely can't remember. Don't remember him dropping Toby for 4th. I might be wrong.
I remember 4th playing, but either way, yeah, you guys are right. I'm of the opinion if we can come away from there with a point, I think that would be an amazing result. I think, listen, a win, and I think we got some bragging rights for a few weeks. But I'll take a point right now. Would you boys?
Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing Angus in the comments just saying if we score early, it's going to be a long day for you. Last time Angus was on, I'm not sure whether, because he was conflicted. Is he talking about Spurs or Arsenal? Not too sure with Angus. So wasn't sure whether here he is, big Archie Graylar trying to wind me up in the comments. He was just now.
He loves it.
Well, you know me, Lubo. You know how to wind you up, bro.
How you doing, Philly?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good.
Can I say, Sava, right? That by the way, 100%, I agree with you with what you said in regards to the fact that, you know, the number of injuries that we have in comparison to them, but they should not even be uttering these sentences, regardless of who we have, because they are in phase 2052 of Arteta's reign after spending 2 billion. I don't want to hear it. Like they had the transfer window of a lifetime and said to us that now that they've got their striker, they've got, depth, and then Arteta managed to buy the 45th defender in his tenure, I don't want to hear it. They have no excuses. They need to perform. They need to deliver. This is the year that they're supposed to be delivering. We are the ones who are going in as the underdog. Obviously, we've got the best away record at the moment, but that should not concern them. That should be our issue. That's for us to decipher. For them, they should be thinking about a win. Any drop points is a massive letdown on their part. So that's what they should be focusing on. That's my point that I wanted to let go in there.
But by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen this. The bookmakers, the lowest I can get Spurs with the bookies is 7.5 to 1.
7.5 to 1.
7.5.
Well, it's 15 to 2. 15 to 2.
Yeah, if we want to do that, 15 to 2. Yeah, that's the lowest I can get them. Right, I'll show you. Right, this is I kid you not. Right, I promise you. If you look at this, right, I don't know if you can see that very clearly. You can see that Arsenal, you can get a like 1.36, 1.40. Spurs, you can get with Betway at 7.5 to 1. All the other bookmakers are at 8s, and BetMGM Grand and Betfred have Spurs at 8.5 to 1. So when people are going like Spurs have got a chance, I genuinely think this is going to be. I've got a feeling Arsenal are going to want to make a massive statement here, and this will come across negative. Philly, what do you give us? Do you give us much hope tomorrow? Are you expecting Spurs to go to Arsenal and win?
I expect Spurs to make it difficult for Arsenal to play through. I expect Spurs to be given the space, Arsenal to push forward and Spurs to be able to hit them on the counter. I do expect that because when Arsenal push forward, there's going to be space in behind them. But am I expecting Spurs to win this game, Savo? No, I'm not expecting Spurs to go to Arsenal and win the game. I expect Arsenal to win. And I'm going to take it from you, Manny, yeah. The level of hypocrisy from Arsenal fans. If you remember when Pochettino was in charge at Spurs here, do you remember how they were giving Tottenham a stick here for Pochettino being in charge for all those years and not winning anything? Do you remember England as well, Gareth Southgate? How many years was he in charge of England and he didn't win anything? 8 years. But they can sit there and say that Arteta's been there for 5 years and not won anything and spent over £1 billion.
Philly, when we were challenging for the title, they said it's all about the trophies. No one is going to remember when you finish second. Now it's all about the journey, Philly, it seems like. So I fully agree with you on that one.
I love this. Angus is so funny. Angus, the last time you lot won a trophy, I was probably in my 20s and I'm in my 40s now.
I think he's talking about the FA Cup, which, after that season, Arteta decided that team was not good enough, ripped it all over, and now hasn't won anything since. So just saying.
By the way, I'll add to that point there. But when they won the FA Cup, Arteta hadn't spent any money by that point. Yeah, now he spent over £1 billion of his own money on his own players, and he's not won anything. So what is that saying to you as a fan? Would I trust him to go into another transfer window expecting him to do anything? No. I've seen enough of Arteta to know that he's not good enough.
If I give Angus the benefit of the doubt that he is a gooner, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt there, Angus. Not too sure because you did seem conflicted. You've come onto a Spurs show before. If we work on that, then Arteta won the FA Cup with Emery's team. Let's face it, it was. It came this season. In fact, Arteta where are we now? Next Wednesday, complete 6 years at Arsenal. And he's got one FA Cup to show. And we've got a European trophy to show. So in terms of trophies, Spurs have been more successful with their 5 managers, 3 caretaker managers, if you include Mason as twice. So we've literally had 8 managers while Arteta's been there, and we've got a better trophy than Arsenal. So, poor show there, Angus. But in their favour.
Do you know how you know that Angus doesn't even believe it? For as long as I've known Angus, he is Arteta out. But yet, when a Spurs fan mentions anything, they go, no, but listen, let's call it for what it is, right? And I'm sorry if Stanley, get down. Sorry, that's not what we were calling for what it was. Arsenal right now have the best squad in the country. I don't know if anyone agrees. I think Arsenal have the best squad. I think they've got the most depth. They can put out 2 different back fours that would both be in the top 4. They've got loads of midfielders. They've got loads of wingers and attacking playmakers. Arsenal have got the best squad. Arsenal are top of the league. They're the best team in the country right now. For me, that means the pressure's on them this weekend. I don't think the bookies aren't expecting us to do anything. Most Spurs fans, you're going to get the fans that just say we're going to win every week anyway. That's fine. But I think most sensible fans this weekend aren't going, we're going to get 3 points. So, guys, this puts all the pressure on Arsenal, right? This is bigger for them than us, right, this weekend, surely.
100%. Like they have gone through the last 3 years finishing second, right? And it was only in one. So in the second year was the year where they were absolutely blitzing everybody, right? Absolutely blitzing everybody. I was watching them play and I was thinking, goodness me, this team looks incredible. And then they got pipped by City. And last year was supposed to be their year because City fell off. And they got picked by Arne Slot in his first season. So this, after the amount of money that they spent this season, this summer, adding up onto what they already had, 100%, the pressure is massively on them. And I think what is happening at the moment is that City have got into their heads. The performance of City last 2 weeks ago against Liverpool has kind of like given them a bit of a doubt. And if they go into the North London derby with City having beaten Newcastle away, I think they're going to be a bag of nerves, absolute bag of nerves in that game. And it might go in our favor. It might go enough, but all the pressure is on them. Don't let anybody tell you anything otherwise other than what I said. Their pressure is on Arsenal to do what they need to do, which is win and keep up their campaign. That's what they need to do.
Manny, I'm going to take it from, you said it earlier, but I'm going to take it one game back before that one. I think it was the Bournemouth game, the Bournemouth versus Manchester City game. But if you watch that game, the ebb and flow of that game and the way that Man City attacked them, that was the one that shook people up, and people sat back here and looked at that and they thought, you know what, Bournemouth have been playing well, yeah? And all of a sudden, Man City have just toyed with them and Haaland was getting through every time. And you're looking at them and thinking, that is a dangerous team. And if they click, right, and I think they're clicking right now, and the fact that they beat Liverpool afterwards, I think they're clicking. And if they click now, I reckon Man City will win the league, because I reckon Arteta, like I said last season in the Champions League semi-final, when the going gets tough there, you'll see how good Arteta is as a manager on the touchline. And you'll see how he coaches them players on the touchline, because I don't think he's able to get over the line. And that's just me. I just see the pressure.
Philly, I tipped them at the beginning of the season to win the league, and nothing's changed my opinion. I think City will still win it. But big if. They talk about keeping Rodri fit. You've got to keep Haaland fit.
That's all. 100%.
You've got to. All the while you've got Haaland. Like, has anyone seen his goal ratio this year for club and country?
Mate, I think he's already got like 30 goals, man. Like Sava, you know, I was born in Italy, right?
I think he scored
24, right? I was born in Italy, so I was I always keep an eye on how Italy, the national team, are doing, right? And the way he scored 2 goals in 1 minute or something like that during the game, he is just an absolute monster. But you're spot on, Sava. They have to keep him fit, because your likes of Doku, you know, on the flanks and whatnot, they're not consistent. Doku's doing very well at the moment, but they're not consistent in the way they perform. Whilst Haaland, he just consistently bags in the goal. So they need to keep him fit 100% to stand a chance. But he's a freak. He's a monster. Have you seen his documentary? And the you know, when he goes to the butchers, like, the guy eats like a tank. Listen,
do you mean like a tank? He is a tank.
He's a tank.
I think as a Spurs fan, It's difficult, right? Because whoever is closest to Arsenal in the title race, that's who we want to win the league, right? So whether it's Liverpool or City, that's who we want to win the league, unless it's Arsenal or Chelsea. But moving it back to Spurs. Look, it's a difficult game, right? Because one of the things that I was talking to someone about this week is we've at no point had a chance to see Spurs with anything like a best 11 under Thomas Frank. And that's what I'm frustrated about going into the North London derby. I'd love for us to be able to have a Maddison, Kulu, Mawani fit. So, like, do you know what I mean? Just something that resembles a near full strength team. Arsenal have got us at our absolute weakest here. They've got no excuse not to win this game. Like, I don't want to see, there is no excuse. Is there, Angus, for you boys not to beat us? No. I'm going to clip this, so there is no excuses, right?
No excuses. No excuses.
No VAR, no subs, no handball, no goalkeeping. There is no excuses. You guys have to beat us, right?
The only excuse it will be is probably from the top gooners. That's it. The top ones, the one who love him so much. That's it. That's the only excuse will be from them lot. Won't be from me. We have to win, and I think we will win. And I think
you've got to win. Am I right, Spurs lads? I'm right. I know they've got to, got to beat us.
It's not even about Spurs, by the way, Sava. It's not about Spurs. I think I was watching you or another show, and they were talking about the fact that we're in different stratospheres at the moment. We are trying to get into the European spots. They're trying to go for the league. They need to win and Champions League. They need to win because they are going against other better teams that if you give them a chance, they will get in. It's not about us, the North London derby and the bragging rights. It's none about that. It's more about what Arsenal and Arsenal fans want to achieve. That is the reason why they need to win this game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Lubo at home. I know they've got a few injuries, by the way. I'm not going to say Arsenal don't.
But
hang on, but when you've spent £1 billion and you've got 2 players in every position, they haven't got an excuse, Lubo, if they to not win.
None whatsoever. You lose Gabriel, you just bring Hincapi in. I mean, if we lost Van der Ven, the only other left-footed centre back we've got is Ben Davies. That shows you the difference between the ambition with the two sets of owners, and that's why Arsenal are where they are to an extent. Obviously, it's not all about money; it's how you spend it. But that just shows you the drive and the ambition that the Cronkies have got. This is your year. If you don't win the league this year, you'll never win it. Seriously, you will never win it.
If we don't win this year, he's getting sacked. He's getting sacked.
You reckon?
I keep hearing this. I've heard this for about 5 years.
I don't think so.
Listen, he's got 18 months left in his contract. If he doesn't win it, he's gone. Yeah, he's got 18 months left in his contract. And there's been no talk of extension. So
has this got anything to do with Andrea Berta coming in? Because when I watched the last documentary or docuseries of Arsenal, because I wanted to laugh about the Conte loss, right? I actually, when you look at the relationship that Arteta has with the I can't remember whether it's Josh Kroenke or whatever his name is. It's actually a very good relationship, so which is why I can't see them sacking him. Because as Philly was saying, or was it Saba, he is a very good coach. Like you can't take that away from him. The question is more about whether he can get you over the line. That's the issue. So if your board and your ownership don't think he's doing a bad job, because obviously the money keeps raking in because you're still you're continually in the Champions League, I don't know if they sack him.
They will.
How do you give a man over £1 billion? Put him in this position where he has the best squad by a long way this season. Liverpool are going to take time to bed all their superstars in that they bought. I also think there's a bit of a hangover naturally because of Diogo Jota. That's obviously affected the club, as you would expect. By the way, Manny, one of your mates is in the comments. Josh Sava, if Frank loses, he needs to get sacked on the spot. We sacked a formal winner for this.
Yeah, do you know what, Lubo?
You don't Lubo, do not deceive the chat. Do not deceive.
Is that you? Is that you in disguise?
No. I'm not allowing you to do this, Lubo. No. Hold on a second.
Josh only started following Spurs on the 21st of May last year.
I was about to say he started that channel 6 minutes ago. I'm going to tell you who Josh is. Josh is the artist formerly known as Ben, who has been blocked about 4,000 times, comes back and every time reminds me that we won a trophy under Ange, as though as a Spurs YouTuber, I might have forgotten what happened in the last 6 months. Do you know what? Do you know what it is? If Josh, let's call him Josh, whatever his bloody name is, Josh T6P8S, which is a great surname, right? Do you know what Josh is? Josh is the football fan equivalent of, he would get done for stalking his ex-girlfriend. He's that guy. He's that guy that can't let go that his girlfriend has gone with someone else, and he just talks about them, follows them home, peers through the windows like a peeping Tom. It's so weird. Josh, I'm just going to say, whoever you are, when you're saying at some point change clubs, dude, you've got to remember, right? I'm a 43-year-old who's got one account, which is Football Heritage TV. One account. I'm a 43-year-old who puts his face to the camera, says his opinion, and doesn't lie or change his mind every 2 minutes. You are a child who creates a brand new YouTube account every day, trying to give advice to somebody that they should support a different team. Josh, if you would like to come on and chat with the panel, you are more than welcome. Put your camera on. Let's see you. Let's have a grown-up chat. Now, by a grown-up chat, I mean using big words and syllables, maybe a few commas in there and exclamation marks. It's up to you. If not, don't worry. You just stay in your little cot. It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry. Fucking knob. Sorry, guys. This person's been...
I want to know what their concept of sending Tottenham is. I want to see what a lot of people, are criticizing Thomas Frank and the style of play, but I want to know what they would do if they were Thomas Frank in the position that Thomas Frank is in. What would they do with the options that is given right now? Because a lot of people are opening their mouth and saying, let's play 3-5-2, let's play 4-3, let's play 3-4-1-2, or let's play 3-4-2-1, right? But let's see what they would do if they were Thomas Frank and in his position right now, because the options for me, like I said to you on Monday, are very, very limited in terms of what he's got.
But Philly, I keep watching these shows where people are going, just play three at the back. First and foremost, right? We've got 3 fit centre-halves in the entire club. You go to 3 at the back, one of them gets injured, your entire plan that you've worked on for the week goes out the window.
No, Sam, I'd bring Spence in.
He's not a centre back, Lubo. He's playing out of position.
He could play. It's all it is. 3 at the back. I know it's different to a back 4, but if you're a right back, you just move in 10 yards. That's it.
I'm not.
No, Lubo.
Believe me, it's the easiest transition out of all of them. Is for the right back just to move.
It's around pegging the square hole, Lubo, for me.
Lubo, quick question.
Hang on. Let me ask the obvious then. All right. So Jed Spence plays there. So now one of the wing backs gets injured. Who plays at wing back? Because Jed Spence is playing at centre back. My point is, you're doing this with the threadbare squad. If you're sitting here right now going, Dragusin, Takai, Danso, Davis are all fit, all the fullbacks are fit, I'm all for it. Right? I'm all for it. But when we're doing it with, you've got 3 fit fullbacks and 3 fit centre-halves. So I'm looking at it going, you want to put 5 of them on the pitch at once, and then you've got 1 fullback on the bench. I think this is...
But Sav, if there's an injury, then you slot them back to the way they've been playing regularly through the season. So it's not like a reverse situation.
Does anyone know when Dragusin is back, by the way?
He's in training. I know he's in training.
I've seen him on the grass, but I don't know when exactly he's back. But Lubo, my question I would ask is, are you saying that we should go to 5 at the back or 3 at the back temporarily, or are you saying that that's your you're talking about Sunday
and Wednesday? I will play 3 at the back Sunday and Wednesday. That's what I do.
Can I just say one thing? I feel like this notion that we need to go to 3 at the back. I know it's being talked about by a lot of people. My worry is we could play 3 at the back, but we're still going to have the same midfielders that can't pass a football, the same forwards who can't hold a ball up. My worry is going to be that we're not really going to see a lot different. And a lot of this is all stemmed from the PSG game, isn't it? A lot of this desperation to see Spurs play 3 at the back is for when we played a PSG who hadn't played a game for 2 months. Their players weren't fit, and it was a glorified pre-season friendly for them.
Well,
right.
Sav, one of the things that we liked about Frank was the fact that whereas Ange was intransigent and never changed his system, Frank does. So for that, I'm happy.
But you've got to have the players to change
very well. You could turn around and say, I mean, I expected this. I predicted a 5-1 defeat against PSG. How wrong was I?
But Lubo, I don't disagree with that point. Lubo, this is the thing I don't think people are listening to. I'm not disagreeing that we can't go to a 3 at the back sometimes. I love the fact that we could, but not when you've got so many injuries. You've got to look at it, right? We've got Danso, Romero, and Van de Ven fit, right? Van de Ven and Romero go down don't they? Loads of time they go down injured. Udogie, by the way, as well. Look how injury-prone Destiny Udogie is, right? So you've got all these injury-prone players playing across a back 5. If one of them gets injured in the first 10 minutes, the entire plan that your team has worked on for the week is scrapped, and you're back to 4 at the back.
There's no guarantee it will fall out after 10 minutes.
I'm not saying
it may well be fine for 95 minutes. So
sure,
I would do it. I would do it if that's what it takes. If that's the system that we need to frustrate Arsenal and to keep them at bay, then I would play 3 at the back. The other reason also is that Danso's great in the air, and they're going to flood. They're going to have corner after corner after corner on Sunday.
I get it.
We need him for heading as well, because we saw against Everton. He was brilliant in the air. With the amount of crosses that came in, I think he made 18 individual clearances, didn't he? With his head, I think, against Everton. His stats were phenomenal.
I'm not doubting that. My point is just about the availability. As I said, if you had Davis, Takai, or Dragusin on the bench ready to go that can slot in, I'm all for it. I think a lot of fans are expecting that we go to a back 3 and everything gets revolutionised. No, I don't think we've got the players for it.
We might not have the squad at the moment, but we've got the first team for it.
Not right now, we don't.
We don't.
We do, because they're all fit. They're all fit. If we go out with Danso, Romero, Van de Ven, Porro, and Udogie on Sunday, they're all fit. They'll all be playing. So we have the first 11 for 3 at the back with wing backs. And personally, I would say
my only worry.
What are you doing higher up the pitch? Can I ask in this 3 at the back formation? I'll tell you what. Let's bring it up. In the 3 at the back formation, what are you doing higher up the pitch?
What am I doing higher up the pitch? I'm playing.
Are we playing a 3-4-3, a 3-4-2-1, a 3-4-1-2?
We're playing a
3-4-2-1, isn't it?
We're playing a 3-4-1-2.
Right. So we're going to play 2 strikers, even though we haven't even got one good one. This worries me immediately.
That way. I would have made it a 3-4-2-1 actually, but that's how I would have done it.
Sav, I'd love Semenyo and Tony up front. That'd be good.
No, yeah. So this was just something doing the other day.
Someone in his spare time trying to make sure we get the right players in January.
There, wouldn't we? Odegaard. I'd have Kudus on Moani if they throw Moani in. Yeah.
Hang on. So let's just look, right. So you agree this is the goalkeeper in the back 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then would that be your midfield 4?
Well, listen, Bergvall, Sarr, and Gray are all injured, so that is your midfield four, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be fair. Bergvall, Sarr, Gray aren't good enough to get into that midfield two anyway. But yeah, we'll disagree. Agree to disagree on that. Right. So then Simmons goes in the 10, right?
Yeah.
And then what? Kudus up top. Is he fit? Does anyone know? Is Kudus fit?
I'm hearing that he's fit.
Okay. So Kudus up top with whoever else, whether it's Mawani or Richie, right?
Well, I would I suppose it would be Richie, wouldn't it? You'll pick Richie in front of Odebear.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, Odebear's not a striker. Why would he go up front?
Well, I think he'll do more damage than Richie. I don't see Richie doing anything.
But do you see? So when you said, now let's take a step back, right? Because literally 30 seconds ago, you said, we've got the first 11 for it. And now you want to shoehorn.
No, we've got the players.
You want to shoehorn Odebear in as a striker, a guy that doesn't score or assist in his career, but we want to shoehorn him in against Arsenal as a striker. Like, do you not see?
I think. Listen, we are going to have limited percentage, aren't we?
Sure.
But I think for what I've seen from Richie for the last few weeks, it's like having 10 men. So for me, you may as well throw Odebear in. For me, you've got nothing to lose. I think he'll do a better job. Don't see how he could do a worse job than Richarlison.
Sure, but
can I give my 2 cents on this?
Yeah, just quickly, Manny, just quickly. But again, you see what we're doing there. Do you truly believe that as a fan, you saying we've got nothing to lose, may as well play Odebear there? Do you truly believe that Premier League and senior managers have that same ethos? Nothing to lose. I'll just chuck a left winger up front. Like, surely that's not what.
You're happy with Richarlison? I'm not.
No. Well, hang on. No, Lubo. No. It's not about me being happy with Richarlison. Richarlison is a striker. Odebear is not. What you're asking to do is you're asking for a bloke that can't score goals or assist to save his life, who is a left winger.
I disagree with that.
I mean, you could disagree.
Look at Richie's goal that he nicked off Odebear the other week against Man United.
Hang on. You can disagree, but the facts tell me I'm right and you're very wrong. If you look,
the recent facts are that Odebear is getting better every game and is contributing.
Lubo, you're not listening to me.
Every game.
But Lubo, you're not listening to me. When you look at Odebear's career, his goals and assists are non-existent. It doesn't matter how much you.
It's not about his career, Sam. It's about now. You can't judge a player on last year and the year before. It's what's going on.
Let me finish a sentence. I can talk about now. He's got one Premier League assist this season. One. And that was a shot. So when you're saying talk about now, I'm not saying Odebear can't improve, but he is not a striker. In what way? So you see, this is what we do as a fan base. I've heard this all for years. Porro should be a right winger, but he's not a right winger. But just try him there. Brilliant. Romero should be a number 6, but he's not a number 6. Just play him there. Spence should play centre half, but he's not a centre half. Just play. What are we doing here? This isn't a Sunday League Cup.
So when you say that, do you know what it sounds like? It sounds like people are justifying a bad transfer business, yeah, and it's saying to Tottenham that you've got away with it. That's exactly what it sounds like to me, as if the club are getting away with bad business. Oh, we can just move this player over here. So it's round pegs in square holes. We'll just move the left back up front, or we'll just move the centre half into the midfield. All because you've got bad options in those positions. Really and truly,
Philly,
this should be rectified.
Philly, I think I understand what you're saying, right? But in the end, the transfer window is closed, right, until January. We can't do anything about that. So that's one point. I think from what Lubo is saying, if we were to go three at the back, I would have it as a 3-4-2-1. The reason why I'll have it as a 3-4-2-1 is because obviously the 3 and the 4 just pick themselves unless you want to put Spence in Porro's position because of how overworked Porro is. Then you would have Simmons and Kudus as the inverted 10s because obviously they can be able to create and hold the ball up. Right, well, Simmons to a certain extent, and then up top you either play Mwani or you play Tel. I don't think you play Richarlison. My issue with this formation, Lubo, which is where I disagree slightly, is that when we played PSG, the way PSG tactically set up and the way they set up their attack is on the flanks, right? So my understanding is Frank must have seen, right, listen, everything goes through Hakimi or Nunes on both flanks, and then they've got, you know, Barcola and Kvaratskhelia. So it's a very, very wing-centric system. If you watch Arsenal against Sunderland, right, they were literally, Sunderland pretty much were pinned back because they drew 2-2. People forget that Arsenal actually played really, really well, right? And it was through the midfield that all the passing and the overload was. So that is where I get worried, because then you have Paulinho and Bentancur having to cover so much grass in trying to, you know, put out fires, that it becomes redundant having Udogie and Porro in that specific game. And I think that's the reason why I wouldn't go for 3 at the back. I'll go for 4 at the back. However, I would swap Porro with Spence, because I feel like Spence is a very good 1v1 defender. You know, going forward might be a bit of a struggle, but at the very least, we know that he is going to win his battle 1v1, and I trust Udogie to do that as well. Whilst with Porro, I think that he's just been overworked the past 2 years, and at the moment he's having a bad period. That's just my 2 cents on the.
Manny, do you know what? I agree with you, Manny. I do agree with you on that. On playing Spence over Porro, because even last season, I remember in the Man City game with Doku, when he came to White Lane, we all said that Spence should have played that game, because Doku ripped Porro a new one on that right hand side, and we're looking at it thinking you need to have a defensive right back to be able to cover that, and so Spence needed to come. Spence should have played that game, and I agree with you. He should play in this game on Sunday as well. Because you're going to need to have that support on the right side of the defence, because you know Arsenal are going to attack you on that side.
Yeah, and I see Alexander's comment saying Spence can't cross. I agree with that, but and we need Porro's attack. Lately? But that's what I'm saying. Porro has not done anything this season, and I don't blame him too much, because he's being overworked, and I understand that. And that's the thing. We're not going to get the output from Porro anyway. So what's the point? Why not solidify going back?
Manny, have you seen his stats? He had a poor game in the last match. That was his worst game of the season. Outside, if you're looking at offensively, his stats are very good this season. They're very good.
I doesn't say that to me.
From a defensive,
my eyes are not telling me that Porro's played well at all this season. I think
he's one of these guys that gets through a lot quietly. But I think the question that Frank,
isn't it funny how you like stats when it makes you right, but when the stats make me right, you're telling me I'm wrong.
Well, listen, I can tell you that our best forward passer this season per 90 minutes, if you're going by stats, is Archie Gray.
Yeah, but how many minutes did he have?
How did you manage to talk about Archie Gray in this?
Going back to Sunday's game, the question that Frank has got to ask in terms of fullbacks, Spence did a great job on Saka last time, marking him, because Saka turns on to Spence's best foot rather than take him down the line. Saka not always, but most of the time goes inside, and that plays into Spence. Whereas if Udogie's there, you've seen what Saka's done to Udogie recently, and he cuts across Udogie's wrong foot. Udogie's far happier with a winger that goes outside, and then Udogie's on his best foot covering. So that's another question that will be interesting to see what Frank does.
But when I'm being told things like this, I don't know how many games I have to watch where Porro has an absolute nightmare against his winger. I mean, you can put whatever stats you want in front of me. Teams target Porro.
Yeah.
Teams target
100%.
him.
100%.
Sorry, this is. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm not having that. If I'm a manager playing against Spurs, I am going. That we saw it all last year. We're seeing it this year as well. Get that ball to the left-hand side. Get that ball to the left, because what stats can't measure, right? This is the thing. This is what stats can't measure, is how much you're out of position, right? Stats can't measure that. How many times you lose your man. You watch him on set pieces. Can't defend a set piece to save his life. Listen, I like Porro as a footballer, but it's okay to say he's not been good this year. He hasn't. That's why a lot of people are getting frustrated with him. The simple passes out the back, he keeps giving it away. And listen, I think he's another one. I think he's a good player, but again, I think our fans put him on this pedestal, and I think he's all right. I think Porro's an all right footballer. I don't think he's amazing. If Spurs sold him, there's no bit of me that would be upset. That's how I judge it, guys.
I thought Ganacho had a field day with himself. I'm not looking really nasty. That Chelsea game.
Hang on, I'm in a sentence. I'm in the middle of a sentence. Hang on. Right here. That's the way I judge how really good a player is. There's some players that are good, but I judge if I wake up tomorrow and if someone rings me and says, "Oh, Spurs have sold Van de Ven," right? I'm going, what? Unless it's 100 million Real Madrid and all of that nonsense. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? Most of the players in this squad, I'll go, all right. Other than Van de Ven, Romero, Kudus, Paulinho, Madison, but I get it because of injuries. There's no one in this squad where I would go, you've sold him. I don't care. You could sell any of the centre mids. Don't care. Genuinely don't care. Any of the wingers other than Kudus, I don't care. Any of the forwards, don't care. The fullbacks, again, I keep hearing how great Destiny Udogie is. Problem is, Destiny Udogie's never fit for more than 5 games in a row. For 2.5 years, I don't think we've ever seen a stretch of games from Destiny Udogie. So that's where I'm at with the squad. So when people want to say to me, this player and that player, I just think it's about time we were honest with the conversation of this is not a good squad of players.
100%. I've been waiting for this conversation for a long, long time. It's a long time coming, by the way. This is a conversation that we should have had. If you watch the Chelsea game, which is what I was going to say earlier, and you watch Ganacho, the amount of times he got the ball on the left-hand side there and was taking on Porro and beating Porro as well. It was like watching a dad take this child to the woodshed guy. It was just bad every time. A couple of step overs and my man was through. And you're just watching him and you're thinking, Ganacho had a field day with you. And passing the ball across, they were dangerous every time he had the ball. And if that's just the Chelsea game, let alone the other ones.
By the way, if he's turned us into an anti-Ange team, fair play to him, because I want it to be anything but an Ange team. Absolutely. Look, guys, I'd love to say, I've said this for years, right? The fact that we all sit here and debate players like who should play centre mid, Gray or Bergvall, who should play left wing, Tell or Odegaard. The fact that we have these conversations shows you just how bad we've been in transfer markets, right? The fact that we're having that conversation. Arsenal, they're sitting there having conversations like, who should play in the 10, Odegaard or Eze? Who should play on the left, Martinelli or Trossard, right? They've got conversations. Who could play left back? Is it Calafiori or Lewis Skelly or Hincapi? Who could play right back? Is it Timber or White? Or look at the levels of the conversation the two clubs are having, right? We are out here every week. I watch these YouTube channels, and the way people are championing these really average footballers just blows my mind. Look there. I didn't even say anything bad about Odegaard, and look how people jump to his defense as though it's David Ginola, right? This is a very, very average footballer. He's a very average footballer who's had a couple of good moments this season, right? And we go, whoa, but his form is getting better. Oh, what? Like,
but
I'm not mocking him.
Yeah.
I can add that to, I hear this with Brennan Johnson, right? This is our fans. So I'm going to rant. This is our fans. When Brennan Johnson doesn't play, all I hear from everybody is he's got to play. Brennan Johnson's got to play. He's the only one that scores goals. He's a goal scorer. As soon as he plays, what is Thomas Frank doing? Why is Brennan Johnson playing? He's the worst player, right? I get it with Tell. I get it with Odegaard. We get it with Gray. We get it with Bergvall. We get it with Sarr. All of these players are hyped. At what point are we going to see as a fan base what most other fan bases see? This is not a great squad. This is a squad that has probably got 5 very good players that you could argue maybe get into a lot of teams, right? 5.
We're 8 short. Squad's 8 short at the moment.
I think the squad is about 15 short. I think this squad is painfully short, right? But those 5 good players we've got, Van der Ven and Romero, right? Kudus, Paulinho, these guys will make sure that we are up in and around the 5th, 6th, 7th spot because other teams in the league don't have that caliber. But when we're talking about we want to play good football, right? He's made us defensive. It's too pragmatic. No one, I watch all these channels. No one actually gives an answer as to how that happens. Why? Because the players aren't good enough. We have had years of watching these players, but we constantly keep pretending that a different manager will make this player better. A different system will make this player better. Brendan Johnson will be really good if we play him inside instead of outside or on the left or on the right or through the middle. When are we going to admit to ourselves? Why can't we admit to ourselves that some of these players aren't good enough? Why are we pretending? Why am I seeing so much hype for players like Odegaard and Tell and Bergvall and Sarr? These are not top players that get into other top Premier League squads. These are average footballers. Sorry, ran over.
Yeah, but sorry, can I say one sec?
You're talking about
one sec. I want to say something about.
Hang on, sorry, man.
Okay, go on.
I was talking about, just mentioned 4 kids. Why are we talking about kids?
Sarr's not a kid.
Well, okay.
Sarr's not a kid.
Why are we not talking about the established players that have been bought, not the kids that have been bought to come through in the next year or two, the established players that are just not good enough at the club?
Like
if
who?
You want
to talk about the kids, though.
Hang on,
You just mentioned 5 players you keep. I think Udogie is a good player, and I'd keep Porro. But for me personally, you've got we are short in 8, we're short in 9, we're short in 10 because Simmons hasn't yet settled. We're short in 11. There's 4 that we're short. Right, we're not talking about kids there. We're talking about established.
But you haven't answered my question.
We are short. Johnson's
Which established players do you think I'm protecting? Which established players do you think I'm protecting?
No. I'm just saying Johnson's not good enough. These are the players we should be saying. These are the guys that aren't doing it for Spurs. The kids, you can't expect kids to come in and play at the same level.
Lubo, we do this every week. Lubo,
as a top player.
The difference between me and you, Lubo, is I support Tottenham Hotspur. You seem to support Tottenham Hotspur's youth team, right?
No, not at all. What I'm saying is this is the transfer policy. If these
kids are in the 11, then when you're telling me I can't expect them to be good enough, don't be in the Tottenham Hotspur 11. If you are in the 11, I expect you to be good enough. I don't care if Arsenal start Max Dowman, who's 15, 16, right?
15.
Right? Then you've got to be good enough. I don't care that he's 15, 16. If somebody is saying you are fit to wear one of the 1 to 11 shirts, you have to play. I am bored of protecting because they are 19, 20. I am so bored of this argument, right? Because when I say, okay, don't play Bergvall or Sarr, not Sarr, because Sarr's not a kid anymore. Don't play Bergvall or Gray, play Bentancur. Oh, no. He's not better than the kids. But he is. He is better than the kids.
The problem is it's leaving shadow over the club still. And we've had 10 years of really poor transfer windows in the main. There might have been 1 out of 20 since 2015, where I think Pericci came in, he brought Vicario, he brought Udogie came in, and 1 or 2 others. But apart from that, it's been an absolute shit show for 15 years.
I agree. This is where we meet in the middle.
This is the problem. This is the problem, sir.
Agreed.
The fact that because they've been so poor, kids have been thrown in before they should be thrown in. There have been injuries when we haven't bought the players, and we are big enough. We are big enough to go and buy 4 decent kids and 4 better players who start off in front of the kids.
But why should we be buying 4 kids? We don't need to buy 4 kids.
But that's the point City, of it, isn't it?
When does City, Arsenal, Liverpool, when do these clubs go out and go, let's buy 4 kids and hope they all come?
You've just
can I say something?
On, right, Manny, let me just answer that. You're talking about the difference in how they run their clubs.
Their transfer policy.
ENIC have owned the club for 25 years. They run the club how they want to. It's their money. They choose.
Sure.
They
Sure.
choose not to spend 100 million on Grealish, not to spend 105 million on Rice, not to spend 115 million on Enzo and 105 on Caicedo as examples. 125 on Isak, 115 on Wirtz. They choose not to spend that sort of money on those big players. They gave Ange for the first time, the manager was given proper money, and they gave him 380 million to spend. He bought 18 players. Liverpool bought 5 players or 6 players and spent more than that this summer because Liverpool go after quality, and for them it's quality, not quantity. With Tottenham, it's always been quantity over quality. It's always been players that fit a wage cap.
Sure,
Frank,
which is why I don't care if these youngsters were to go. That's why I don't care, Lubo.
I think you've got to, if you get an opportunity to bring in a good youngster who you can see going forward has got the potential to be an absolute baller, then I think, the way the big.
When are we going to buy one of them?
Well, I think Bergvall will come good. I think Gray will come good.
What's the evidence, though?
No, but hold on.
Lubo,
That's only part of the job. The main part.
I hear this sentence so much. I think he'll come good.
Yeah.
This is not a breeding gap. This is not a breeding ground, right? But at the moment,
Sav, every young kid that a club buys, not Spurs, but any club, any young kid that a club buys, they're taking a speculative. I understand
this,
it won't be risky. To them, it will be an educated, speculative punt.
I agree, but when are we going to stop doing that and buy what we need? Because at the moment. Go on, man. Sorry.
That's the thing. The point I'm trying to make is your issue at the moment is with the club, because you're spot on. Someone like Odobert, right? And I'm in that tiny group of people that actually think Odobert has got the potential of being someone who will be good in the future, right? The issue and the where the club has placed you, Sava, is having to make you choose between having a talent and an established player. That shouldn't be the case. What should be the case is we should have Semenyo on the left at the moment. We probably should have Lookman trying to fight with him for the space, and having Odobert looking at them, learning from them, playing in the Carabao Cup, playing 5 minutes in the Champions League. That's what should be happening. But this club, in the last however many years,
25 years,
so petty and so skimpy with their money that they thought they were smarter than everybody else. Now, when it comes to the point that you're making, Sava, about Arsenal and having Eze Odegaard, this is where I'm a bit more hopeful now than I was in the past. And what do I mean by that? When we went in to try and get Morgan Gibbs-White in the 10 this season, and obviously I know that it fell through. Maddison was not injured, right? So they were prepared, from the way I'm deducing it, they were prepared and knowingly knew that they were going to have both Maddison and what's his name? I've just forgot his name again. The guy that we didn't get from Forest.
Gibbs-White.
Gibbs-White. They were prepared for Maddison and Gibbs-White to fight for that 10 position. And that is what, that's the caliber of players within different positions that we need. So I am a bit hopeful that maybe they are, going to the point where they're going to change.
Manny, we're talking about different things here. Manny, we're talking about different things.
Yeah.
Everything you've just said, I completely agree with you on that front. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with Lubo and on the premise.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is that because this is what we're left with, that people start putting these players on a pedestal before they've done anything.
Oh, yes.
That's my problem. If anyone turned around and went, you know what, Odebert's okay. He could come good, but we don't. Odegaard comes on as a good 20 minutes, or actually, to be fair, it was a good last 15 minutes against Man United, right? But no, Lubo, it was. If you actually look until Man United went down to 10 men and put Diallo to right wing back, Odegaard wasn't doing anything like the rest of the team. It was when Man U went down to 10 and Diallo went to the right wing back instead of forward that he started getting joy. Now, I'm not knocking that, but we're seeing players do things like that. And our fan base turned that 15, 20-minute cameo into, cool, what a player we got on our hands here. This boy's brilliant. And we do this all the time. I hear it with Bergvall. Look at the sentence you used. There's a player in there, but my eyes are watching him going, you're not doing anything. But people are going, there's a player in there. These players, and I agree, Manny, this come back to your point. For me, a Bergvall should be getting 5-10 minutes at the end of a game, right?
Yeah.
A Bergvall for me should not be starting a game for Tottenham Hotspur week in, week out, or there or thereabouts. I don't think he's ready. He wouldn't be anywhere near any of our rival teams. He wouldn't be near Villa's 11, right? This is the way I think we have to look at it sometimes. I'm sitting here talking about Arsenal and City and Liverpool, right? Let's scrap that. Let's take away the big three, right? Let's take away the big three. Chelsea are in this little island on their own because you never know with Chelsea. Let's look at the teams around us, Manny. Newcastle, right? Villa, Man United. If we look at those three, I reckon we're probably in a little bracket with those three, right?
Correct.
The likes of Bergvall, Odegaard, Gray, Sarr, they don't get in at Newcastle.
Yep.
They don't get in at Villa. They don't get in, arguably, Man United. They're a strange team, right? These players don't get in there. They shouldn't be getting in at Tottenham if they don't get in at Aston Villa. And that, for me, yes, I agree, that is a club problem. That is an issue we've created. But what we're doing is, because we're left with this, we are overhyping them, Manny. We are overhyping players doing, like Odegaard and Graham Bergvall. If they just do their normal job, which is a normal player, they get, oh my God, in 9 out of 10, he was brilliant today. So if you actually look against Man United, Odegaard beat his man a few times, which is what a winger should be doing, right? Took the shot, deflected for the goal, which is what he should be doing. And our fans went, fucking hell. What? Fucking hell. This Odegaard, if he keeps playing. And because of that, we've gone to, we've put them on this level where it's, God, they're brilliant. In days gone by, these boys don't get anywhere near a Tottenham team. Near a Tottenham team. Yeah. So I won't apologise for having standards. I won't apologise for pretending these players are better than they are. I'm not like these fans that do this. I'm really bored of hearing that every single one of them, there's a player in there and they could come good for the future. Their kids. Guys, we are Tottenham Hotspur, right? We are not a Sunday League team. We are not a newly promoted team that have to buy kids and hit and hope. Arsenal are not doing it. Liverpool are not doing it. City are not doing it. Newcastle are not doing it. Villa are not doing it. Right? Villa went and bought one young star, didn't they? You all know what I'm talking about? Morgan Rogers.
Javier.
Right?
Okay. Oh, right. In the past.
18 months ago, Aston Villa went out and bought one. Morgan Rogers, one. Put him in the team. Go on, learn, grow. Spurs went out and bought boom, 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 boom,
Sav,
boom.
Sav, we know why that happens. We know why that happens.
I get it, but Lubo, fans like
Sav,
Lubo, it's fans that put him on the pedestal.
No, but he was bringing the wage bill down to sell the club. That's why he bought 4 kids. Well, Bergvall was bought earlier than that.
That doesn't make sense, Lubo. Because there's many players across Europe that are on those similar wages that we pay those kids. Me and Danny went through this with you. When Spurs bought Archie Gray for 30, 35 million, whatever it was, right? Manu Kone, right? Joined Roma for like 30 million euros on like 75 grand a week, the same as Archie Gray. That's an established pro footballer who is quality.
Why didn't they? Why you're going to say why didn't they buy him?
Damn right, I'm going to say why didn't we buy him?
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because Ange was fixated with Conor Gallagher the whole summer.
Sure,
and that's the reason.
Let's blame Ange on that one.
Manny. If you followed the newspapers, and all the papers were saying the same thing,
They don't know the head from the toe. Like, guys, if you're telling me that this was a club policy for 25 years, you can't blame. Like, listen, he came in with no pedigree. Ange came in with no pedigree, and what I mean by that is, yes, he had won in Scotland, yes, he had won in Japan, etc. But in terms of with our board, he didn't come in with any pedigree. So, and he said they said that I need to revamp the age profile of the team. That's what they said to him. You know what I mean? So I don't think he came in and they said to him, right, Ange, go and get fully established players on 130, 140 grand. And he said, absolutely not. I want Archie Gray. So this does not it doesn't make any sense to me.
No. Ange never bought kids when he was at Celtic. He never bought kids elsewhere. This is not an Ange thing where he came in and
I don't blame Ange for this.
That's not true, Lubo. He did bought kids at Celtic. He did.
Yeah, but in any case, but this is the point I'm trying to make, right? Is that it was clearly a club policy. To me, it was clearly a club policy. And again, this is where I do agree with you. It's been, for however many years, right, at Spurs, we've done things the wrong way. There was obviously an element of the fact that they felt that they needed to go for homegrown players because our academy was not producing, the level that we needed. But again, it was botched by them, which is what now in this summer transfer window that we've had, and going forward, they're going to try and rectify from what I think, what I saw with the going for the Kuduses, the Morgan Gibbs-White, the Xavi Simons. You know what I mean? So you can see that there is a change in mentality there.
Manny, I just want to caveat something, by the way, because again, I feel like people don't listen. I'm not saying in any way, shape or form, we should never sign young players. That's not what I've said, right? I'm not saying, by the way, go out and sell Bergvall, right? I'm not saying sell them all. I'm not saying some of them won't become brilliant in the future. My point is we're being put in a position now where we're arguing about who should start centre mid. Is it Bergvall or Sarr, right? For me, the answer should be neither. One of those should be at the club, not both. And that person should be fighting and watching senior pros trying to get in. So I think Lubo and I are probably on the same page, but I think Lubo starts at this end, I start at that end, and we kind of meet somewhere in there with it. Listen, I would love, Manny, Bergvall to turn into a world-class international midfielder. I would love Odegaard to turn into my man Ginola. I'd love all of this stuff to happen. But my point is, when you've got these players, you've got fans on one hand going, they're young, give them time, have patience. On the other hand, the fans going, why isn't the manager getting more out of them? Why aren't we brilliant? Exactly. You're like, well, I think the manager is getting the best. I think the fact that we have got the fourth best defence and the fourth best number of goals tells you he's actually getting the best out of a very average group of footballers. So when people like Ed M in my chat say another day of shitting on the players, again, people aren't listening. It's not shitting on them. There's a level that they are capable of. And at the moment, I don't think we're capable of more than what we're showing in general. I don't think we're capable
I agree with that.
Of being, I mean, look at City, look at Liverpool, look at Arsenal, right? Their squads are ridiculous, right? Man City the other day, subbed off in Doku for Savio, right? Marmoush came on for Foden or something.
I had forgotten about Marmoush, by the way. Yeah.
Right, Marmoush, right? Man City have got, Rodri's out injured. Don't worry, Nico Gonzalez can play. Nico Gonzalez is a second for them. For us, he'd be our best player. Right? Do you know, Arsenal, I hate saying this nice stuff about them. Look at their squad. We got Spurs fans going, don't rate Zubimendi. I'm watching Zubimendi going, you fucking kidding me? He'd run our midfield. Like, this is where I hope you're right, Manny. And sorry for the rant. This is why I hope you're right. I hope the fact that we went in for Morgan Rogers and Gibbs-White and Eze, I hope that is now going to be a structure that we see.
Yeah.
And I hope that then takes pressure off of Bergvalls and Grays and Odegaards and Tells. But at the same time, if I talk about those four, if I talk about Bergvall, Gray, Odegaard, and Tell, all I hear is that they're young and they're all going to come good. Not all four of them are going to come good and be Tottenham Hotspur legends, right? But listen to our fans; they'll all have an argument as to why they are. So,
Tell wants out, doesn't he?
Can I add a little bit here? Because I'll be quiet on this one.
But look,
Dava,
sorry. When the young players get better, when will the young players get better if we don't give them game time consistently? Okay, so essentially, you want to be a youth breeding ground. If there's one of them playing regularly, yeah. Not 4 or 5 at the same time. We're not. This isn't a youth training centre. We're Tottenham Hotspur. I'll tell you what. Here's my question to someone like this. Cool. If Spurs announce for this season we're going to play 5 teenagers in the hope that they all get better and better, are you going to sit back as a fan and watch us lose most weeks and say, don't worry, this is all about player development. Don't worry about the first team? I bet you won't. I bet you fucking won't. How did Ledley King develop? How did Ledley King develop? How did Harry Kane develop? How did Sol Campbell develop? Right? They were good players.
King came in early, didn't he, Sam? He was that good that they actually blooded him very early on in his career.
But that's my point, Lubo. If they are good enough, they will make it. You can't just say, I want to play 4 or 5 kids all together at the same time and they're all going to get better. Because as somebody who's been in youth coaching and as you boys who have supported football for long enough, there isn't a one-size-fits-all measurement of how good a player progresses. It doesn't mean if all 4 or 5 of these play week in, week out, that they all get better at the same level. Right? No, some of them will. Dele Alli did. Dele Alli came straight into an 11, stayed there and got better and better and better until he hit the issues he had. Right? So no, I won't ever compromise what I want in terms of quality. I won't. I'm look at this smug get up here. I love Angus to death, but look at this smug get. He's sitting at the weekend going, don't worry, Gabriel's not playing. Hincapié will slot in. We're sitting there going, don't worry, maybe Byfield can come in from the youth team. The levels. Why don't we want to be?
I think it'll be Mosquera. I think it'll be Mosquera next to Saliba.
Sure, you get my point. You get my point.
Yeah.
You get my point.
But this is changing. This hopefully, Angus, this hopefully is changing now. The fact Levy's no longer there. There is a policy now, hopefully, where the owners' kids, and I say the new owners because Joe Lewis has been quoted as saying that he's not coming back to Tottenham Hotspur. Levy's gone, and he has gone. He might still be there as a shareholder, but he got turfed off the premises and all his stuff was sent back afterwards. He is not involved either. So hopefully you've got now Vinay, you've got Charrington, and you've got the 2 Lewis kids. So hopefully with this new regime, and it has been a complete summer of change at Tottenham.
Really, Lubo?
Sorry, Perisic now back.
Really, Lubo? Do you actually believe that? Do you actually believe? Because I'm looking at the scouts. I'm looking at the scouts, Lubo. First and foremost, I've been waiting for this for a while now, right? I've been looking at the scouting system. Yeah, Manny, fair enough. Yeah, Morgan Gibbs White. But here's my argument for Morgan Gibbs White. Yeah, what was the contingency plan if Spurs didn't get Morgan Gibbs White? What did they have in the background for that kind of player profile, Manny? Nothing. What did they have for Eze? What was the player profile for him when Spurs didn't get him? Nothing. They have
no, but it was Morgan Gibbs White first, and then Eze second, isn't it?
Right, but in the background, Manny, Spurs weren't moving for anyone in the background, and that was my issue. You only go for one target, so they've limited themselves to go for one target at a time. That's incompetence to me, Manny. Because
I agree.
No planning there whatsoever, and this is Lang. And this is Paratici as well. Because Paratici, I'm going to put Paratici up there, Lubo, in the fact that he spent £57 million on a pigeon. And that pigeon, we moan about every week, Lubo. Who bought that pigeon?
Levy did that deal with Everton's chairman. Everton's chairman wanted 80 million. Levy got him for 48. He thought it was a deal. Everton needed the money for FFP. We needed a centre forward because nobody was joining to be back up to Harry Kane. And that was nothing to do with Perisic. That was Levy. That was Levy's initiative.
But even so, Lubo, like I the way I agree with you is even like in the end, we need to understand how organizational structures work, right?
Yeah.
Paratici cannot go out there and do whatever he wants. He would have been given a remit, and that's what you get some, you lose some. So he would have been given a remit from Levy at the time, hence why we got what we got, right? Because Levy always wanted a bargain, whatever. The point about the our summer transfer window, and the reason why I'm not, just like Sava said in various of his videos, I agree with Sava. We didn't do enough, right? But I am a bit more hopeful, purely because when you watch a lot of Frank's interviews, Frank was very, very clear. He said, I will not bring in anybody that I do not want in the squad. I won't. Right, he was very, very clear with that. And then we had the whole change in structure, etc. And then when we looked at the players that we started going for, we started again just 2 seasons before. We were going for your Archie Gray, your Odober, your Bergval, etc. And now I'm looking at the club go to your Morgan Gibbs White, then tried to get Eze, then tried to get, then got Xavi Simons. Then when we realized that Solanke was injured, obviously we were quite unlucky with the Muani injury, but we brought in Muani, who everyone wanted in January, right? So I'm just taking the small positives from it and the caliber of players that we are getting, and that's what I'm looking going forward. I do agree with you when you say, where is your plan A, B, and C? But you could as well say the structure was all over the place. Like Paratici was not even a full-time club member at the time. We've made him full-time now in October. So there were things that must have been out of place, but you can see that from a high level, we were trying to get, you could see that there was a switch.
Manny, I think the important thing to also throw in the equation is that Levy left the club September the 4th. I think it was. I think there is they're just invoices. It's nothing exciting, believe me, in my files. And I think
have you ever said a word more in your life than the word Levy?
No,
you know this to be true. Everything's his fault.
We're talking about Philly, hear me out. By the way, just to answer you before, Philly, Paratici has several plates spinning at any one time regarding players, and that hopefully he will now bring back to the club, because we had no succession plan when Kane left. We had no succession plan when Sonny left. It's been appalling, and look how Brighton do it with succession plans. But just coming back to the transfer window, there was probably a hell of a lot going on behind the scenes. If Levy was told to go on September the 4th, which is right at the end of the transfer window, you can imagine what had been going on at the club for the previous few weeks. So I've also got a feeling that some of that had a bearing. The fact also that Frank said that the transfer policy doesn't align with how he did things at Brentford. Yeah. He said that because obviously players that he wanted either weren't being put forward, or the profile of the type of player, should I say, that he wanted was not being presented to him by Lang. And so Frank's literally had to do a clean sweep. He's got Paratici in now, and believe me, Paratici will be the boss. They may have sugarcoated it for Lang's benefit, but he's you might have 2 50-50s, but one's senior, one's junior.
Do you trust Paratici?
Yes, I do.
That's the one. I don't.
My only concern there is that he knows the Italian market very well, but does he know the world market? That's my Lang knows Scandinavia, but there are a lot of kids. Chelsea went and got Estevao from Brazil. Why are we not picking up these great South American
My worry
kids?
with Paratici, Lubo, we can all have this chat about Paratici.
Yeah.
I think I've always been 50-50 with him, by the way, right? Like, I'm not oh my God, he's amazing. Oh my God, he's shit. I'm in the middle with this guy. I think he's done some good things. I think if we're talking,
by the way, sorry to cut you off. I need to jump. So, thanks so much, guys, for the conversation.
See you later, Manny. Love you.
See you, Manny. And shout, mate.
And shout. I think in terms of, let's bring us back to transfers. I think he's done some good things and bad things. I need to see that he can buy top quality forwards. For me, I'm looking at during his tenure, what forwards has this man been able to bring to the club that make a blind bit of difference to Tottenham Hotspur? Can we name one?
No, there isn't. There hasn't been. Ange brought Johnson. Johnson was Ange's man. Solanke was Ange's man. Odebear was Lang. Veliz was Lang as well.
How do we know all this?
No, because I'm talking about the people that it was widely out that Ange wanted Johnson and Solanke.
Which is why he's been sacked at the beginning.
That was Johnson and Solanke was what 105 million they spent on those two.
Yeah, Lubo, My argument with Spurs, it's not that they don't spend money, Lubo. I never have an argument with Spurs spending money. I reckon they hemorrhage it, Lubo. I reckon they waste the money. Yeah, they don't even look at the signing. They don't even look at the profile of players that they're buying. Yeah, they're just buying them random. And I think Savage stole a line from me, and it's like this: it's random pieces of a puzzle forced together. That's what I'm looking at when I look at Spurs transfer business. I'm looking and thinking, you haven't bought an 8, so even if you want to play a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-2-1, you've got no one to drive the midfield forward anyway. So you're already compromising the centre of the park because no one in that midfield is going to hold on to that ball and drive the team forward. No one in that midfield there has the time to settle on the ball and put their foot on the ball and control the ebb and flow of the game. Not one of them. And I'm looking at Lang and I'm thinking, how do you not profile this player for Thomas Frank when you know Thomas Frank needs that kind of player? And most managers need that type of player in the midfield because the midfield triangle, is the heart of the team. And if you haven't got that right, and we haven't got that right as Spurs, then you're going to see football like we're watching right now, where it becomes stagnant and it doesn't look very nice. It's not very pretty on the eye. And that is because of the profile of players that we've been buying for the last few years, Luke.
Philly, it is down. Listen, we've now hopefully got owners that are taking the football side seriously. Before that, they weren't. It was just about profit. That was the profile of the club.
But it's not about the owners, Lubo. This is not about the owners, Lubo. This is about the scouting department headed by Lang and Paratici. I want to see what they're doing, Lubo. I want to see them buy a player for a reason.
Philly, if you've got a wage cap, the other big clubs that we're aspiring to be, if we've got a wage cap that they don't have, then we're always looking at lesser players. Now, that's a big issue. It's been a big issue.
Can I bring something else in, Lubo?
Because we have spent money the last few years, haven't we? But it's been wasted. Can I
bring something else in? And Lubo, I know for a matter of fact you will agree with me on this one. I know you will, and I think everyone will. The more and more you look at it, right? You look at this last 10, 11 years at Tottenham Hotspur, right? And you would say that there was a 3-season period under Poch where we were excellent. There was three years. I know he was here for 5 or 6, but the first and last were a bit, but the middle 3, we were a really good team. Teams didn't want to play us. Fans of other clubs enjoyed watching us. We were a good side, right?
4 years.
When you look at the couple of years before that and the 6 or 7 years either side of that, right? For me, I'm going to say it. Kane and Son have papered over every crack at this football club, right? Every crack. Now, this isn't about individual managers because we can go through this and say, oh, but Conte didn't have a good back four or midfield. No, but he had Kane and Son. Jose, exactly the same, had Kane or Son, right? Ange has caught the tail end of Son, right? Add the other managers in between as you see fit, Sherwood, whoever, blah, 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 blah. The problem is now, whenever you look at Spurs, it didn't really matter who Spurs had. Of course, from a winning a title perspective or challenging, yes, it wasn't there. But it didn't really matter who Spurs had in 1 to 9 in the team because 10 and 11 in terms of Kane and Son would win you games. Kane and Son would score you goals. Kane and Son between them in a year would get 40, 50 Premier League goals, 60 goals across all competitions, assists. They papered over everything. Like everything. And when you look at it now, we have a good back four. It's good. It's not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting there going, "Oh my god, it's like Arsenal's or Inter Milan's." It's a good back four that does its job. I think we've got an average midfield, and I think we've got a poor forward line. But right now, all of the hoo-ha across the fan base of style and should have won this and should have, none of that would be there, guys, if Kane and Son were in this 11. I don't mean now Kane and Son. I mean, well, Kane now, but I mean Kane and Son in their peak, right? Mm-hmm. Kane's always been in his peak, but you know what I mean, guys, right? For the purpose of this conversation. It wouldn't matter what style we play right now, who was playing with them, whether it's Odegaard, whether it's Bergvall, whether it's Sarr, whether it's John. If those two were in this team, right now, we wouldn't be having in this conversation. And for me, I think it's good that they're not there. And what I mean by that is I think for actually visually demonstrating to people how average it is,
of course,
Kane and Son both not being there now, Son getting towards the end of his career, Kane moving to Bayern, we're now seeing that without those two, what really is there? Now, I don't mean can't finish 5th or 6th or what is there? What?
This is where I find the club lazy, Savage. It never built on Kane and Son. This is where I find the club lazy and lazy the institution. Yeah, you had Kane and Son, but you never built on it. You didn't even try to build on it. So when Kane had to leave here for his betterment of his career and to make a lasting legacy in his career, fair play to him because he gave you 10 years of his career. What more do you want from Harry Kane?
Philip, that's the point. But Philip, that's my point. The point is now we're seeing that we don't have you can be an average team. If you have two top forwards, you will do well. Look at Sunderland back in the day. Mm-hmm. Sunderland back in the day had Quinn and Phillips up top, right? Yeah. Phillips will bang you in 30 league goals a season. You are going to finish 10 places higher with a guy who gets you 30 goals than not. Right now, we are seeing that in these games where we play poorly or with defensive or pragmatic or whatever, in the past, when we would have done that under Conte or Jose, they got away with it because Kane and Son would be devastating in that final third. Right now, when the ball gets to the final third, we're not devastating. We've got nothing. When that ball goes in the final third, what part of any of you, even Angus as an Arsenal fan or whoever anyone supports, what part of any of you goes, this is going to result in a goal?
The only ones kudos. The only ones kudos. That's it. Oh, your strikers are by average. Let's be honest. They're by average. Your left wingers are by average, and your only good forward player is kudos. Let's be honest. None of your forward players are good.
But we didn't.
The championship average. The championship players are best.
But the thing is. For me, Angus, this is the problem. This isn't a problem of. I've said it before, Lubo. We've had this chat. Are Spurs ever going to go right? Kane's leaving. Let's find anyone as good as Kane. No, there's two out there probably as good as Harry Kane at putting the ball in the net. One plays for Barcelona, and the other one plays for Man City. Do Spurs go and sign those players? No, but in between what we did do, Kane, right? Richarlison and Solanke. For me, that was criminal. How did we not even get anyone in that gap? We went from there to there, right?
To the bottom of the barrel. Basically,
left wing.
The barrel in it.
Left wing. And this is the thing with the left winger. When people think I'm getting on Odegaard's back, and I'm not saying it's his fault, but we've gone from Son to Odegaard. Like, there's no middle ground where we go and get a seasoned pro that's been there, seen it, done it. It's utterly mental.
Do you remember I put this together? Do you remember I put this together? My 7 points.
How could I forget, Lubo?
If you had, hang on. Oh, bear with me, Angus. If you had a club, you're saying, Philly, that we didn't look to replace them. We were happy with Kane and Son. They were covering over massive holes. That happens because the ownership were happy for it to happen, because the less money they spend, the more profit they make. And this is, if you had owners like Kroenkes are now, or forget Arsenal, let's talk about Fenway with Liverpool, because they are the most successful. They're the current league champions. If you had owners like Fenway, you would have, and I've got here, put together a short, mid and long-term strategy. Build a top team. Buy early, give your manager time to integrate. Buy the right players, don't buy opportunities or deals. Pay the correct wages. Sell at the right time and at the right place. Not where the Levy way was, where you try and buy as cheap as you can and you try and sell as high as you can, regardless of the player's value and market conditions, what players were out there, what the competition wanted, etc., etc. So if you'd have had owners that were interested in Spurs, you would have had maybe an owner who would have said, cool, we're losing Kane. He's a world-class star. How much are we getting for Kane? 85 million. Right. How much do we need to replace Kane? Might not be quite as good, but if he's 90% as good. Who's out there? Let's just throw one name, Osimhen. How much is it going to cost to get Osimhen? Maybe we need to put another 30 million on top. We'll get him for 115 million from Napoli. Let's go out. Let's offer what we're getting for Kane and give ourselves 30 million to go up. And maybe with over 100 million at some stage, Napoli will say, yes, fine, Osimhen is yours. We'll take 100 million for argument's sake. We don't do that because we don't have owners who are geared up to making the football side successful.
I agree.
The commercial side, fantastic. What a great job he did. But we've never taken advantage of the commercial side, and we're earning. You know, I read an article yesterday in the Athletic. They were talking about Arsenal. They were comparing Arsenal's grounds to our grounds, and Arsenal are looking now to their grounds looking a bit older, and they are looking to increase the capacity. And because of restrictions, they've got two choices. They either dig down, which is 2-3 times the price building wise, or they go up. They have only got, with Islington Council, they can only do 6 non-footballing activities at the ground. Only 6. I think they've got one band who's playing twice this coming summer. I saw reported. Spurs have got 30. Spurs are dwarfing Arsenal in terms of money coming in. So the commercial side's there. But what they failed to realise, or what they didn't want to, because the highest profit margin Spurs made in any one year was the year we got to Madrid in the final. We made 138 million net profit. So you'd have thought to yourself, Jesus, footballing success, we might not have won a trophy, but in terms of financial success through football, correlates with the financial strategy that we've got at the club. So, do you know what? If we put more money into the football, we'll become more successful. We'll get more money in TV appearances. We'll have better players coming. Well, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, if you bring in better players, they probably thought we'll increase the ticket prices and so on and so forth. We'll be in the Champions League. That will bring massive money as well. They were never interested. You know, and Philly's right. Why wasn't there a succession plan for Kane? Why wasn't there a succession plan for Son? It's because the people at the top weren't interested in the football side. And that's why we've got this shadow of Levy hanging over the club now. And I think, you know, the fans are fed up with it. That's probably a lot to do with the way they are disgruntled with the type of football we're playing now. Because we've had 25 years with very few highs. Whereas we've looked at all the other clubs. We've won 2 trophies this century. I think Arsenal, you've won about 10 or 12, I think. Liverpool, 13, mind you haven't.
13,
sorry,
13.
You won a couple of leagues. You've won 3 or 4 or 5 FA Cups, I think. I think you may have won 8, even if it's 8 or 9. Chelsea have won 19, I think, or 20. City have won pretty much the same. United have won 12 or 13. Liverpool have won 8 or 10. I think they won 3 cups in 1 year, didn't they? Liverpool in the turn of the century under Gerard Houllier. But Liverpool used they won 6 or 7 European Cups, you know, Champions Leagues. And the fans are fed up because we're paying top dollar. We've got this fantastic ground. The infrastructure's right at the top of the Premier League, but we're not bringing in the players. You know, the prices are virtually at the top of the Premier League, but we're not bringing in the players because the owners up to now haven't been interested in taking the football side forward. And this is the problem. This is why we're discussing who's better, Bergwijn or Sarr, because they haven't actually spent the money and gone in and spent the money on the big players when they should have done.
Lubo,
but it's not about we shouldn't be spending 40 million on Archie Gray. If we'd have spent 60 million on Conor Gallagher, nobody would be talking about the Gray transfer.
I still would. I get what you're saying, but still at that money, I agree this sentiment, but the amount I disagree with. But Lubo, I agree with everything you've just said there, right? I mean, listen to this group of players. So these are the forwards that Spurs have signed, right, in the last 4 years. Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
Right. Matisse Tell was at £39 million.
Yeah.
Right. Solanke, 56 million. Odegaard, 26 million. Johnson, 48 million. Valise, 13 million. Ritchie, 51 million. Brian Hill, 22 million. Timo Werner, when you actually add up the two loan fees, was something like 10 million. Right? When you look at those 8 players at a cost of just over 260 million pounds, right? You look at that and you go, when these players were bought in, don't worry, we're going to wrap up the show. I'm going to wrap up the show in 5 minutes. When you look at that money spent and that caliber of player coming in, one, Lubo, it's not a one-off. We can't say, oh, well, they got that one wrong because we kept doing it. We kept doing it. We kept going, oh, Werner, oh, Valise, oh, Ritchie, oh, Solanke, oh, Hill. Oh, we kept doing it. The second thing you would say is, at what point did anyone sit down and go, okay, cool. We can target these players, but what's our aim with these players? And people will go, oh, we won a Europa League. That's fine. Teams win cups. But what's the aim for sustainable success? Who was looking at that and went, yeah. Now, again, people will go, well, Odegaard and Tell might come good. Sure, brilliant. Solanke, I mean, you look at it now, we're going to be 2 years down the road with Solanke, and what have we really got from it? Right? Richarlison, is this his fourth year?
4 years. 4 years.
4 years with Richarlison, and everyone can't stand him. Valise, is he even a Spurs player anymore? I think he is. He's on loan.
He's on loan.
Right?
He's on loan.
Timo Werner was here for 18 months on loan, right? Brennan Johnson. I mean, who looked at these and went, this is what we need? And I get it. When you've got Kane and Son, I get it. It's difficult to turn around and go, right, top player, come and join us. You're going to be behind Kane and Son.
So
but when
most of those the last 2 years. Most of those the last 2 years. Levy put Munn in charge, Munn put Lang in charge.
No,
what a disaster. What a disaster that has been.
No, I understand. But I mean, as I said, in there, you got Hill, who was a while back. Ritchie, who was a while back. Valise was 3 years ago, right?
No, 2 years. That was it for these 3? No, 2 years. He's been. I'm sure this is his second season with the club. Third season.
But my point is this: do I think it's easy to replace a Harry Kane? No, I don't. Of course, it's not. Yeah, let's be fair. When Barcelona try and replace Lewandowski, is it going to be easy?
Sure.
No, because unless they sign Harry Kane, how many goal scorers are out there? But you know what? It just felt lazy to me more than anything that we went, right, we need another striker. Let's get Ritchie. Okay. That didn't work. Right. Who should we get? Let's get Solanke, who's had one good year in his career. It just felt, and it has felt all very, very lazy. And this is what I want to see moving forward, Lubo. And I'm hoping with this new structure that we've got, that we stop going for these players that, and let's be fair, it's players that fans pretend are good. The number of people that go, oh, Brennan Johnson gets loads of hate. It's not that he gets hate, but he shouldn't be at Tottenham Hotspur.
No.
Richarlison, he gets hate. I'm seeing people sending things round going, oh, statistically, he's better than Gyökeres. Like, can we stop? And until we all and the club get to the stage where we agree we need better players, I don't see what changes at this club. And that's
100%.
the big question mark for me in January and the summer. Let's see. Because as always, what's the word I use? It's the Q word. It's the Q word. I see all these shows, Lubo, talking about it's the formation. It's the partnerships. It's this player not playing. When are we going to realise it is the quality of the footballers?
It's only about players. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day. And they don't have to be the best players, but they have to be players who are of a certain level, who will be good team players. You know, you look at Greece, who won 2004. You wouldn't, you know, in a World 11, how many of those Greek players would be in? But they had a system, they had a team, you know, and they were able to put together, and they were good enough to go and win it. Whichever way you do it, you know, they're of a certain level, and they did a magnificent job. No signing, absolutely right. No signing is guaranteed to be a hit, but I think the area that we've never gone into is you're looking at, say, Arsenal buying Declan Rice. You know you're going to get an 8 or a 9 out of 10 virtually every week. So you know what you're getting for your money.
Exactly.
And is it lazy? I don't think it's lazy, Sam. I think
I do.
No, I tell you what I think it is.
Hang on. Do you not think we looked at the striker market and the best that somebody could come up with was Dominic Solanke? That is the ultimate in lazy scouting because he had 1 year and 19 league goals.
That's what he wanted, I heard. He was determined. He had to have Solanke.
Yeah, Chesney, Hawks alone. He should have been sacked. That's when he should have been sacked as the manager.
Well,
so bringing that man in there, because Luba, I'm not even being funny. I've watched Chesney Hawks Solanke all his career, and he has never hit me as a good forward. I've watched him play for Liverpool. I've watched him play for Chelsea, and because I've watched him play, I can understand why they got rid of him very, very quickly. And I was the reason that he was at Bournemouth for so long, and that's because he's their level, he's championship level. He is no way, shape, or form the level that you need if you want to go into the Champions League. And it's the same. And
but Philly,
he actually got better stats here than our boy the Pigeon. Our boy the
Philly,
Pigeon.
Do you know what?
My man.
Philly, do you know what's funny?
So if you had owners who were saying, right, I want to take us to the very top, and everything was geared to that, then you're going to get better people than Lang in the club, right? They're going to go out. Maybe they'll go and get someone like a Monchi, like Villa did. They'll look around. They'll say, right, who are the best people we can bring into the club? Who have got the best scouting networks and can bring in the best players? Because you're geared to success. We've never had that. So when I say it's lazy, the problem is, Sav, that to me, it's not lazy. It's people that are not good enough in their job. That's the problem. And Levy interfered. I was told that he got involved. He was in a chat with the Everton. Can't think of the guys. What's his name? Oh, he was a guy who died. Bill Kenwright.
Okay, yeah.
And Levy and Kenwright did the deal. They heard Richie was up, and it was Everton wanted 80, money needed for FFP, or they were going to get hit for points. He got them for 48 million. So that's what I was told. If anybody knows otherwise, please tell me. That's how Richie came. He was secondary to Harry Kane. I didn't get it because that Spurs wouldn't spend the money to bring Watkins in when Kane was there. When Pleat went to Levy and said, let's bring Watkins, or Jose, I think it was Jose that may have said no. We could have got Watkins when he was leaving Brentford for 27 million. We've not been geared up. We don't think like a winning club. There's no winning mentality.
No, you're 100% right, Lubo.
That's the problem.
Lubo, I'm not saying every player needs to be world class. I'm not saying, and we are going to wrap up the show. I'm not saying every signing needs to be world class. Every signing needs to be amazing. When people in the chat say stupid things like, no signings, not every signing is going to be a hit. Of course it's not. But you look at the bigger clubs, you look at the clubs like Newcastle, right, and Villa. If you actually look at what they've done over the years, right, more often than not, they've been hits. They've been successive. If you look at Villa lately, if you look at Morgan Rogers, it's been a big hit, right? Ollie Watkins has been a big hit. Boubacar Kamara has been a big hit. John McGinn, Onana, right? Tielemans, Pau Torres, Matty Cash. You look at these people, they've been hits. You look at Spurs, how many have been big hits? How many have taken us from there to there? You know, I just want us to be sensible, Lubo. I want us to go out. Let's bring in seasoned pros, right? That have a bit of quality. I'm not talking about Erling Haaland's, Lubo. I'm not talking about can Spurs bring in Haaland's and De Bruyne's, but can we go out and get some? Can we go out there and get some quality, solid footballers? Right? We keep buying people, but the problem is, Alex, when you're saying that, the thing is, we're saying Porro's been a hit, but Pedro Porro's a right wing back that's been brought in to play right back for Spurs for years that can't defend that well. So for me, I'm not saying Porro's a bad player, but some of these other clubs, you've got to remember, where were Aston Villa 4 years ago? Anybody, where were Aston Villa 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
I think they're an interesting one. Sav, I think they're an interesting one because they are at a level, and I think unless they go and buy better players, they are going to stay. They're the same as us, and they are going to stay exactly in that position below the top clubs.
Agreed. But the point, Lubo, my point is, this isn't about, oh my God, Villa are better than us. I'm not saying that. My point is, where you look at where we were 5 years ago and where Aston Villa were, and now you look at the two clubs and you go, in that time, Aston Villa have gone, right? And in that time, Spurs have just hung around, right? Newcastle as well. I know they're not doing well in the league in the last month or so, but Newcastle in the last 3-4 years have gone. Spurs have just hung around. These clubs, yes. Now the question mark. You're right, Luba. You're 100% right. The question mark for these clubs now is how do they now go from what they've got to the next level? But Spurs have been at that level for years. When are we going to go?
Yeah, but the problem, I can say this, Sava, there's always been an excuse for Tottenham Hotspurs, always been an excuse, and when we stayed at that level, right, we've always heard the excuse of, well, every other club uses oil money. Aston Villa don't use oil money, son, and neither do Newcastle. So anyone out there saying oil money is the reason that they're up there, it's not. They look around the market, they look for what they need, and then they buy accordingly. I said it the other day, right? They had 125 million for Isak, They spent 70 million of it on Walter Mada, and the rest of it went on Wissa. So they had a contingency plan, just in case Isak went to Liverpool, and they executed it perfectly. This is why in the summer, when people were saying, oh, Spurs had a better win than Newcastle, I sat back and I just said nothing. I sat back and just watched how Newcastle executed their idea, and they had a contingency plan for Isak's exit. Right, they looked around the market. Yes, they lost out on Sesko, but they still had other players in their list that they wanted to get in. So they always had something there to fall back on if they needed to. And they knew when to sell Isak. Remember, they only spent £60 million for him because they bought Isak the same year that we bought the Pigeon. Because I remember saying at the time,
look how well they done.
Isak.
Look how well they've done. They sold Isak. Sorry, I know you need to go, Lubo, don't you? But if you need to go, mate, feel free to drop off. But
2 minutes.
They got they sold Isak, right? But bought in Voldemada, and obviously we know Wissa has been injured, but they bought in Voldemada and Wissa, right? Spurs sold Kane, and then brought in Johnson, and then the next year Solanke. And I'm looking and going, lots of Spurs fans, but don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like, oh Voldemada is the greatest striker I've ever seen, but he does a job. Like you watch him, he holds the ball up, he's good in the air, he scored some goals, and you look at that and you go, that's all I want. I'm not asking for a Harry Kane regen. I'm not saying, because they knew, can we replace, if you're Newcastle, can you replace Alexander Isak? No.
Right.
No. So what do? You go and buy a couple of strikers, and Wissa will score goals for them when he's back. Wissa will score goals, right? And
it
Villa
resolved their problem because Callum Wilson was the number 2 striker and he was forever injured. They killed 2 birds in one stone. But if I just say, Freddie, just to answer you, and I've been saying this till people say, Ian, you're boring saying this. ENIC spent enough money through the years. I'm not talking about the 2 years that they wasted with Ange. They spent enough money through the years to keep us semi-competitive, to keep the fans interested, to keep the money rolling in. They never stretched themselves to go the next step. And that's why we were always, as Sav said, hanging around there, because that's where we were. You know, we were very fortunate with Harry. We had some really good players that he picked up, and the scouting team there did well with. It then went forwards. You had Paul Mitchell that brought in a lot of the players that Poch had before Levy's interference. Before Levy's
nightmare. Yeah, I know, Luba.
Push Mitchell away, and Mitchell left. I'd love to have him back at the club. I would have preferred Mitchell back rather than Paratici.
100%.
Be honest with you.
Oh, for sure.
He did a great job. He did a good job at Monaco. He did a good job at Leipzig. He didn't get on with Eddie Howe at Newcastle.
Lubo, go. Don't piss off your wife. Don't piss off your wife.
You don't want to be the
We'll speak soon. Cheers.
Go. Bye. See, the thing is, Billy, I'll come back to that in a second. When I talk about the reason why I talk about Newcastle and Villa is because of, not because I go, oh my God, these clubs are amazing.
No.
It's because 5-6 years ago, I'm looking at these clubs. One was in a relegation battle, and the other one, you know, and they were in trouble for years. Newcastle, they hated Bruce, they hated Pardew, they hated this manager and Benitez and this manager and blah blah blah. And then you look at Aston Villa; they were in the Championship, scraping through the playoff final. Right? Then had to sell their best player for 100 million, right? And I look at those clubs and I go, well, how have Aston Villa in the last, if I'm not wrong, someone in the chat tell me if I'm wrong, is it 3 years in a row now Villa have finished above us?
3 years in a row, Stavo. You're correct. Right. I know this one.
So you have to look and you have to say to yourself, don't you? How is a team that 6 years ago were in the Championship?
Right.
How have they, in 3 years, managed to get themselves to a position where they're stronger as a squad than Tottenham Hotspur? Now, if this had happened and that had happened and injuries, but sure. But the 3 years in a row tells you that that's not a one-off. That's 3 years in a row they've been better than Tottenham.
100%.
And you look at them, I don't look at Villa and go, you've got amazing players. What I do look at is say, Villa have bought men. I'll say this all the time, Lubo, and I know people will go, oh, I'm talking about men. Villa went and bought men that are competitive, that can win you games. You look at that midfield group they've got, Tielemans, Onana, McGinn, Kamara, all battlers, all fighters, all big, strong, powerful, right? Watkins as a runner through the middle to score goals, right? Then they went and bought Morgan Rogers, who's a young player, but look how powerful Morgan Rogers is, right? Now you look at the back, Pau Torres, Konsa, Mings, Cash. None of these are skinny little boys. They are all men, right? Martinez in goal. And then they went and got a top quality coach as well to mould them. Cool. Then you look at what we buy and what we celebrate. We celebrate, but Bergvall, but Gray, but Sarr, but Tell, but Odeber. And I'm looking and going, really,
Saba,
like,
do you know what I was going to say earlier?
And we're doing this. It just doesn't make sense.
You know what I was going to say earlier? Yeah, I hate this excuse here of it's young, because I'm going to quote someone famous on YouTube, and I'm going to say, age is only an excuse here when the player doesn't do very well, because you don't hear young here with Barcelona, you don't hear young with Kabasi, who's 18 years old, you don't hear young with their players, you don't hear young with Pavlovic at Bayern Munich. Why don't you hear their age? Because they're good enough already, and this is Alex here. Yeah. If you're good enough, you're old enough, Sava. But at Tottenham, it seems to be age is a crutch. Oh, he's young. No, no fan put that player in a position. Tottenham Hotspurs chose with the squad they have here, for these youngsters to be thrust into the limelight before they're ready. And this is the problem. And this is why fans it's like they conditioned themselves to think that this player is better than he is. Unfortunately, Thomas Frank here is now understanding that these players, like you said earlier, elegantly, yeah, that these players are not as good as fans make them out to be. And it's a realization and a shock that they're going to get. And this is why I said to you earlier, I said, this is going to be one difficult week because Arsenal is a hard team to play. And then midweek, you're going to play PSG again. And then I think it's Newcastle the week after. So this is going to be a proper learning curve for Tottenham Hotspurs and Thomas Frank. And I'm going to say to every fan, yeah, hold on to your butts, guy, because this is going to be one bumpy ride.
It's going to be a real tough week. Listen, the way I see it is this, right? The way I see it is this. If you are a young player coming into a team and you are getting 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, the focus isn't on you, right? Yes. The focus isn't. If on 75 minutes, Spurs bought on X young player. The focus isn't on them. The problem is, it's that the same fans going, but they're only young, are the ones crying for them to start.
Yes.
If you are saying they are good enough to start, right? Craig, I changed my email address, mate. No, I won't get those emails. I changed my email address because you kept sending me lots of very weird emails, mate. I don't reply to anyone who emails me anymore because of people like you, unfortunately. You ruined it for people, right? If you are calling out for these young players to start, Philly, then the excuse at the end of the game isn't their age. I don't cry for them to start unless I think they're good enough. So, for example, when Ledley King was an 18, 19-year-old, we could all see, yeah, you can go on straight in the team, play, right? I don't look at these others. Like, people going, Sar's young. Isn't Sar 23 years of age?
You know that.
For a footballer, he's been a pro for 6-7 years, right? So when we're talking about, right, when we're talking about, Craig, stop. See, this is the weird behavior. I don't want your emails, mate. Please, I don't want your emails. All I do with those emails is block the email address. It's weird. Stop emailing me. It is so weird. I am a YouTuber. I don't want people emailing me. This guy emails me talking about milk.
Oh, God.
Like, it's so weird. I've got a folder of all these emails so that if ever I need to, I can just send them to the police. It's so weird. Like, it's just people emailing me about milk and Richard, like they talk to me like they know me. Oh, it's so right. Here you go. You've all seen me asking, Craig, I'm asking, please don't email me. Your emails aren't wanted. Everyone's seen this now, right, Philly? Your emails aren't wanted. Stop emailing me. It's weird. Stop emailing me. I have emailed you back plenty of times and said, please stop emailing me. So the reason I keep your correspondence is so that I can actually go to the police and say, this person is harassing me. Stop them emailing me. It's weird. Stop. It's weird. Right? Anyway, sorry, Philly. It's just that guy has been emailing me for years. It's so weird.
It's fine, Savo. I'm going to echo some sentiments of you, yeah. And it's this. This is a football channel, yeah. We go to football and debates on it. We don't want to talk about milk or none of that weird stuff, yeah. We just want to talk about football, mate. That's it. It's an opinion channel. It's
just so many weird people. I blocked him. He creates another email address. We'll get another email. Anyway, so for me, that's where I've always been with this youth policy. As I've said, people go, you don't like the young players. No. If the young players are good enough, then they'll play. If they play and they are poor, they get called out the way everyone else does. But this whole notion of they're young, that for me applies to, like when I watch Newcastle play.
Yes.
And that young, is it Asula? That Asula guy, he comes on for Voldemado with 10, 15 minutes to go. Right? Cool. Right? That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Right? But what we do is we go, Bergval's got to start. When Bergval does start, right? When he does start, the answer is, yeah, but they're young. But you wanted them to start. what you wanted to start. Listen,
Look, Saba, I'm gonna to your point, right? This was been my argument from the start of the season, and I'm gonna say it now. A lot of fans say, "What if Bergvall to start?" Right, and Thomas Frank then starts him, and then when he doesn't play well, yeah, whose fault is it, Saba? Is it their fault because they wanted Bergvall to play, or is it Thomas Frank's fault for playing Bergvall because he's got no choice but to play Bergvall? And then when he doesn't perform because he's very young, like they want to say, yeah, and inconsistent because of that, now they want to blame Thomas Frank. So it's like he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he don't. Straight away is in the catch-22. So it's like, Thomas Frank, mate, you just might just get on with what you've got.
Right. Dude, you got one last message and then you're going to get blocked. Just stop, mate. Stop, please. This is the sort, Philly, you know how I'm feeling about being on YouTube at the moment. And not, this is why. It's just so many weirdos. Like really weird. I'm getting people message my missus on other platforms talking about me from YouTube. It's so weird. So when the chat laugh and go, it's funny. It's not funny. It's weird. It's weird. It's too much. Philly, for me, the way I see it is this.
It's like your life is taken away from you because you're in the spotlight, and the people around you are affected because you're in the spotlight, and that's not fair. It's on them. That's the bad thing about it.
Yeah. No. See, no. So again, you've not listened to a word I've said. I'm just using him as just an example of somebody who gets 10 minutes at the end of games. Again, this is what I mean. These people. Right, look, that bloke's getting blocked now. Talking about my wife. No.
Oh, no. Come on, man.
Just weird, right? The people like this, unfortunately, don't listen.
I know.
I'm not saying Asula is a kid. My point is that he's their backup striker, right? He comes on, he gets 10 minutes, right? 15 minutes. Then I don't think there's a lot to judge. But we start these players and then, but they're young. Now, when I was younger, young players got into the team by proving themselves.
Yeah.
Right? I remember when Andy Turner, I'm going back some years. Andy Turner broke into Terry Venables' team, right? From playing in the reserves, did well, got in the team. Now we've got players, they just want any young player. Any young player. He's young, get him in. I see something. If I hear that sentence one more time, I see something in him. Do you know what, Philly? If you say that about every young player, one of them it's going to come true with.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll go, I told you. Yeah, but what about the other 100 that you've told me that something's going to... I'm just bored of it.
I know. I hear you, Sava. I hear you very much, man. I grew tired of it myself. Every week, it's like they embellish another player, yeah. And then when the player doesn't reach that pedestal, they're young. You stop putting them on unrealistic pedestals because really and truly, they are very, very moderate players. And they give the ball away, which then gives the opposition the chance to attack us. So I'm looking at it thinking, like you said earlier, like you said on a show not long ago, yeah, if you're going to give me options, give me better. Don't give me worse ones, yeah. And then when they don't work out, then you blame the manager.
Listen, the way I see it is this. I want to judge a footballer. By, I watch them and go, are you good enough to start for Tottenham Hotspur? And then I ask myself, okay, what do fans want Tottenham to be? Right? If you want Spurs to be an average football club, Odegaard, Bergvall, Gray, these guys are good enough. That's fine. If you want them to be that. But if you're then going to judge the manager and go, why aren't we fighting for top four? Then these players shouldn't be starting for Tottenham Hotspur. But fans want it both ways. It used to be that you had one young player trying to break through. How many have Spurs got? Tell, Odegaard, Gray, Bergvall. People want Mikey Moore in the team. I'm hearing next year Moore's got to come back and play. Vuskovic has got to come back and play.
Jamie Donnelly's got to come back. Yeah.
See, again, Soul Sniper Gaming, dude, stop this. When you say you're blocked, stop this. I'm not with parrots. I've just had LUBO on who disagreed with me, right? Me and Manny didn't agree on things. So when you're saying this, what are you talking about? mate, you're an indespicable troll. You keep doing this. You keep doing this, Soul Sniper. Again, no name, no picture. You'd shit yourself. Come onto the show right now. Have a chat with me about football. Because all I see is you digging me in the chat. That's all I see is you digging me in the chat. Because I've got standards and you haven't.
I want to know what he. Do you know what's happening? I'm going to ask Soul Sniper Gaming. Yeah, what are your expectations of Tottenham Hotspurs? What do you actually think? Where do you think Tottenham Hotspurs should finish with the squad they have? Because
right now,
somehow, he seems to be very Bergval and he seems to be Sarr in that. So let me see where he actually thinks Spurs should be. Because to me, I look at all those players and I think all of them should be impact subs that come on late in the game, And if they do anything to influence the game, fair enough. But really and truly, you should be coming off the bench, like Lamani said, all right, and seeing what you could do towards the end of the game. Not a starter in the game. You're not good enough to start the game. And the fact that they're in that position to start games is detriment. It just speaks volumes of how bad Spurs have been in the transfer window.
Look, I look at Spurs squad right now and I think if everyone's fit, 6th. If everyone's fit, but they're not. And after that, it's all about, can we stay in the mix until a window? Right now, with what I'm looking at, I think we've got a good defence that can mix it with the top clubs. I think we've got a bang average midfield that's no better than the mid-table. And I think we've got a bottom half of the table forward line. When I mix all of that together, 7th, 8th, 9th, right? Top half, but 7th, 8th, 9th. However, when you see like 6th isn't good enough, what squad are people looking at, Billy? Like
That's the one.
I'm looking at Tell, Johnson, Odeber, Richarlison, Solanke, Mawani, and people are going, that should be top 4. Like, what are we doing here? Like, who in the top 4 has forwards that bad? Who?
See, and that's the question, Sava. Like you said earlier, I expect Spurs to drop down before January because I reckon there's going to be so many games in December that I think that the defense itself, they're going to have injuries in that defense, and because we've got Romero and Van der Ven who are both injury prone, right? I reckon they'll have an injury in December, and then Spurs will drop down the table coming towards January. But I agree with you, Sava. I said 6 at the beginning of the season, depending on injuries and the amount of games that we play and how we manage those games. Now, 6, it seems about right to me with the squad we have. I look at the players that we have in our forward line, in our midfield, like you said earlier, and I'm thinking, out of the top 10 teams, how many of our players actually get into those teams? And that's the top 10, Sava. I'm going to open it more than you did with the top 4. I'm going to go top 10. Where does you see the Pigeon playing in any of the top 10 teams? You don't. And you can even go down the list to lower clubs here and thinking you don't get into them teams either.
But I think that's the point. If you look at the set of midfielders and forwards we've got and you ask what level do they get into? So if I look at what level does Bentancur get into? What level does Sarr get into? Like, they don't get in a Villa. Don't get in at Newcastle. Do they get in at Brighton above Belieber and Ayar? I don't know. So. Right? Do you see what I mean? You look at Gray, what level does he get into? Basuma, we don't know. I mean, I can't remember the last time the boy played a game of football. I look at Tell, Odeber, Johnson, Richie, Solanke. What clubs around us do they get into? So when you look at that, hardly any of them you would say would get into those big clubs. And yet fans say things like 6th isn't good enough. 6th right now, I think, would be an achievement. 2 games a week with that squad, right? Now, whether or not some of them will be a better level, and this is the thing, Philly, this is the thing that people don't ever seem to understand. I'm talking about them right now. I'm not talking about what they might or might not become, right? But I'm always told you can't sell any of them because what if they go to another club and do better? Can anyone ask me, when was the last time we Spurs sold a player and we regretted it. I don't mean Kane. I mean, when was the last time Spurs sold an Ndombele, a Winks, a this, a that? When was the last time we sold someone and regretted it? Who's gone to a bigger club and done really, really well when they've left Tottenham?
See that? I agree. No one. Not one
Right.
player. Even
In the
Bergwijn.
chat. Hang on, in the chat, right? This is the point. But we're doing it again now. All of our players can't sell him because he might be this. Can't sell him. He might be this. I've heard this for years. And I'm looking at all the players we've sold in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Who has gone on to do better things? Not Kane, because we didn't want to sell him, right? Who has gone on to do better things? No, Paul. No, I'm not talking about Bales. I'm talking about all the players that people. No, people are not listening. People are not Kane. No. I'm talking about when we're talking about the likes of, we're going, oh, Bergvall will do this and Sarr will do this, right? And Ndombele will do this. Lo Celso will do this, but who has actually gone on anywhere? And we've gone, fucking hell, look how good they are. I don't regret any of them. Ndombele, Lo Celso, Sissoko, Aurier, Royale, Dyer, Longley, Sessegnon, Bergwijn, Moura, Davinson Sanchez. None of them. Right? But we're doing it again now, Philly.
I agree.
We're doing it again now. Oh my God, but you can't get rid of him because he might be good. You can't get rid of him because he might be good. And we are the most sentimental fan base in the world.
So I've said this for years. Spurs have to be ruthless, and that's not just the club itself, yeah, but the fans themselves have to be ruthless. Sava, I'm lucky enough here to be the same age as you, yeah, and I've watched the likes of Klinsmann leave. I've seen Teddy Sheringham leave. I've seen Harry Kane leave. I've seen all these good players leave here, and I have no sentiment attachment to any player whatsoever. Once the time has come here for them to go, just go, because really and truly, yeah, you have to move on. When I said this a few years ago, yeah, look at Napoli, yeah, right? They got rid of Insigne, and in the next year they actually won the league, yeah, because they bought Cavaschellia and they bought what's his name in, because times end, Saba. Time doesn't stay forever. Time and tide waits for no man, and football evolves and football moves on. Look at Borussia Dortmund. Look how they turn over players and they move on and they go forward. Bellingham was a prime example. The year we sold Harry Kane, they sold Bellingham to Real Madrid. Look how they replaced him. So teams move on. They might not win, but they move on. But teams like Tottenham, it's like, let's bring Harry Kane back. Bro, we said 10 years of Harry Kane. I don't want to see it anymore, to be fair. If Harry Kane comes back here, I would question Harry Kane's mentality as a football player. And I'd say, why would you go back a step here when you've actually gone forward in your career? And fair play for you to going forward in your career and actually doing something with it.
But this is my point. Like, other than the big ones like Bale and Kane, no one actually ever gets sold upwards.
Right, really?
Like no one gets sold upwards because they're not that good. But our players want to keep everyone. Our fans want to keep everyone. Yeah. Like, as I said, I started this show off by saying, right now, and again, it's really difficult having this chat because people don't listen properly.
Yeah, I know. It's too personal as well.
there are players where I think I wouldn't actively go and sell them, right? But that if they were sold, I don't have any feelings about them, right? I don't have any feelings about them. As I've said, I think we've got 5 really good footballers, 6 if you include Maddison, but obviously we don't know what Maddison we're going to get because of the 2 brutal injuries, right? But I'm literally looking at everyone that's left.
100%.
I'm looking at everyone that's left this club, right? There were reasons why people wanted to keep Davinson Sanchez year after year, Dyer year after year. Even now with Ben Davies, people want to keep him not everyone, but want to keep him year after year. Sessegnon was, this is his year, this is his year, this is his year. 5 years of waste. Ndombele, he's a baller, 5 years of waste. Lo Celso, 5 years of waste. Sissoko, Aurier, right? Lamela, Bergwijn. I mean, Lucas Moura, other than the Champions League moment, right? All of these players I look at and I go, I don't feel like we were wrong about any of them, Philly. But the problem is we then replaced them with more. Oh my God, this guy. I'm not ignoring Madueke. I'm sorry. I don't ever remember Madueke making a first team appearance for Tottenham. Did he?
No, I don't think he did. I think he
I
went to.
don't
I think
remember
he went to
Madueke
PSG.
Tottenham, so he's not in this conversation.
I think he went straight to PSG.
You're talking about letting a young player go. I'm talking about players we've sold. We're just going to replace them. We just keep replacing with these average players. And then we go, he's going to be good. He's good. Like, if you look at fans, look how many think Porro's brilliant. Look how many think Adogi's brilliant. Van der Ven's brilliant. Romero's brilliant. Bergval's brilliant. Sar's brilliant. Right? Tell's brilliant. Odeber's brilliant. Solanke. Yet they all complain, why aren't we winning league titles and why aren't we doing better? Well, how many years do you need to see these players to realise they are not the answer?
I'm not even being nasty yet, but how many years did we hear with Eric Dyer? 3 or 4 years we heard of Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer is the best of what we've got. As soon as Spurs bought Van der Ven, yeah, and he came in, Eric Dyer was just like, you can see the levels between the two of them, and all of a sudden it's like, maybe Eric Dyer is a problem. Yeah, maybe Eric Dyer was a problem when we said that a couple of years before that, with the multiple times that this man has made a mistake. Maybe he was the problem all along. And it's only when you buy a competent player that you realize here that you've been holding onto a player that's not been good enough for so long. It's like the realization comes home that maybe that player wasn't as good as you think he was. And this is the problem with Spurs. It's like a lot of fans don't see the foresight. They see that, I say it in hindsight. But I'm looking at Tottenham and I'm thinking, I'm watching it in foresight. I'm looking and thinking, that's not right. I don't want to see this player play. Like I said to you when we signed the Pigeon, I was with you. I'm 100%. I didn't want to see this man play for Tottenham Hotspur because I'd seen him play for Watford and seen him play for Everton. And I always felt he was never a prolific forward. I've always thought that he's not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur for what you need him for or what you're buying him for. So why spend that money on him? We will never get that money back. So you're going to take a massive loss when we sell him anyway. And it's the same with Solanke. It's like you look at this player over the years at Bournemouth and then you're buying this man, but then you're not looking at what he actually offers you as a forward. He's not a prolific forward. He is Chesney Hawkes. I'm sorry, he is. He's only had one and only good season out of all his entire career. And yet you're spending £65 million on that. You're basically wasting money because you're never going to get that back.
Well, Philly, ignore the positions, by the way. Forget the formation, right? That's not what this is about. This is what Spurs, over a period of 4 years, have been able to cobble together in central midfield. This is our squad building. Bearing in mind, the best one of those isn't even a Spurs player, he's a Bayern Munich player. Right? So of the 5 that are actually Spurs footballers, that is the best Spurs could come up with. Bergval, Gray, Sarr, Basuma, Bentancur. Like, when I look at that, I just go, who at what point? You already had Basuma, Bentancur, and Sarr had been bought. Who at that point then went, you know what we need? We need Gray and Bergval. Right? Who at that point didn't go, well, we've got Sarr who's coming through. A couple of years back, I'm going now. Sarr would have been 21 at the time. He needs to play. So let's go and buy some senior pros to... No, that's what we have amassed. Look at them. Not one of them is a goal-scoring midfielder. Yep. Right? Not one of them is creative. Not one of them is a ball-playing number 8. And not one of them can dictate a game. That is what Premier League Tottenham Hotspur have put together for a collective of central midfielders, and people tell me 6th in the league isn't good enough. I don't know if I'm being harsh, but I look at that, and if you had said to me that is West Ham's 6 midfielders, I'd say, sure. This is Spurs. That's our group of midfielders. Bentancur, who's not the same because he's had so many injuries. Sumo, I don't even know if he's a professional footballer anymore. Sarr and Bergval run around a lot, and I don't even know what Archie Gray is. That is what we have been able to assemble in 4 years of buying central midfielders. That's fucking shit.
I agree, Sava. And what makes it worse, yeah, is like Lubo said elegantly, yeah, is that Spurs have had the money to buy better players. You've had the Champions League football, Sava, which everybody craves for because Champions League football encourages you to buy better players. Yeah. When you look at the midfield assembled there, yeah, you think you could create the midfield without the Champions League. So what's the point in you qualify for Champions League whatsoever? You basically waste the Champions League qualifying for it. There is no point in you qualifying for Champions League if that is the midfield that you're going to assemble. That is shocking. That midfield alone is appearing in the Champions League for me. And that Spurs have that kind of midfield in the Champions League.
Billy, the best one there isn't even ours, mate.
I know.
The best one of those players is a guy we've got on loan.
Yeah,
and he's
because
30 years of age.
Yeah, because Bayern Munich have too many players in his own position, yeah, that they don't need him. So basically, we've just picked up from Bayern Munich, yeah, a player who was surplus to requirements, but he turns out to be Spurs' best player in that at the club in midfield. How shocking is that?
If I said this, Philly, when I do say this, by the way, I always say this, I'd get rid of 3 or 4 of them and completely revamp your midfield, right? People will go mad because you'll have those that argue for keeping Sarr, those that argue for keeping Gray, those that argue for keeping Bergvall. Now, I think we can say that Basuma's going to go.
Yep.
His contract runs out at the end of the year. I think we can pretty much say he's going to go. Bentancur, I'm hoping, I said this at the time, I think it made sense to give him an extension purely to retain value. I'm hoping that we can get 15, 20 million from him. So I think if you get rid of Basuma and Bentancur, I'd get rid of one of Sarr and Bergvall, and I'd get Gray on loan. And then what I would do in the summer, if we're a proper team, I'd go and buy 3 central midfielders and revamp.
100%.
I'd go and buy a proper box-to-box midfielder, like a Gallagher. I'd go and get a proper ball-playing number 8, like a Wharton or a Stiller or a Gomez or a Locatelli, someone like that. And I would revamp that.
I would
revamp it. The way Liverpool went out in one window, didn't they? And they got Gravenberch, McAllister, and Endo all in 1 year.
Yeah.
2 starters, 1 who's a squad player. Right? That is what I would do. I would go and get 3 central midfielders in 1 window and I'd revamp the fuck out of that team.
I agree with Trevor. That midfield to me, is just not. Some of the midfielders is null and void, and the player profile that fans are looking for the exciting football, if they're looking for it, none of these players have it in their None of these players have it in their locker. None of them, and so. I agree. We need a ball-playing midfielder, but we do need a player that dominates the game, controls the ebb and flow of it, brings the ball forward, and carries it to his teammates, and so that he can function in defense to the attack. Because to me, that doesn't look very nice when you watch it. It just looks like it's regimented. The attack looks so regimented. It's like it goes up and it just doesn't look nice, Sava, to me. I'm looking in.
But it's not that. By the way, I'm not sitting here saying they're all terrible. But again, it's what do we want to be? This is the question I always ask everybody. When people are going, oh, he's a good player. For what level? For example, I could sit here and say to you, let me see. I think that, let me go to a club that's not massive. I think that John McGinn is a really good midfielder at that level. At this level. Where we are now, good level.
Yes.
If I'm Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and I want to go there, I don't think so. I don't think he's that next level above, right? But I think these lot we've got now are the level below John McGinn.
I agree.
Now, let that sink in. This is a guy that costs £2.5 million from Scotland, right? I watch John McGinn and go, you would run our midfield. Now, that's not me overpraising McGinn. That's me looking at what we've assembled and going, how did we get to this? Do you remember Tielemans on a free? And our fans were going, nah, not good enough for us. Same fans that want to watch Bergvall, Sarr and Gray.
I know. So many. So many Sava, like in the summer, Grealish was there on loan. You could have got Grealish, yeah, and it would have been the perfect left-sided player. Even Garnacho was there in the summer, right? And we had fans at the time saying, we don't want that kind of player here. Grealish is a drunk. Garnacho is a playboy. He goes out every night. But then when Garnacho played against Tottenham for Chelsea, yeah, all of a sudden it was a different tune because my man was giving Paul a wretched time out there. All of a sudden it's, well, maybe we should have got Garnacho. Yeah. We were saying that in the summer. All of a sudden now you want to change the tune. When we play Everton, Grealish is creating stuff. Yeah, no crap. Of course he's creating stuff because that's the type of player he is. That would have been perfect for your midfield on the left-hand side. But so the fans don't know what they want. And a lot of fans here are just saying something because it's the highlight right now of, oh, this is fashionable. But look into the team itself, yeah, and look at the players that Frank is working with. Look at what skill sets they offer. Because a lot of people just say, oh, the player works hard. Works hard at what exactly? What does he work hard at? How does he influence the game? How does he actually function on the football field?
Philly, this is why when I watch people and they're just going, be more expressive, be more expansive, be better on the ball. Sure. Where's the players with those skill sets? Pep Guardiola plays a style of play because he buys a style of player, right? Pep Guardiola couldn't come into Tottenham and make us play tiki-taka because we don't have the players to play that football, right? So I look at the players we've got and I go, I'm not expecting loads. Listen, I'm going to end the show in a minute. I'm going to do some super chats. Before we do, here's a list of players, just loosely off the top of my head, over the last 2 years that certain YouTubers that have worked with me and myself have said we would take, that we were laughed at by Spurs fans.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Bearing in mind the same Spurs fans that want to tell you Gray, Bergvall, Sarr are ready. Now they might all be amazing in 2 years. And what will happen is if in 2 years, Bergvall's brilliant, people will go, you didn't want him. I'm talking about right now. I don't want him in my 11 now. All right. For those asking if I'm doing a members show, no, after this, I've got a few errands to do. So no, I will do one early next week. I promise, guys. I promise. Players like this, I've been told in the last 2 years, aren't good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. Right.
Mm-hmm.
These are players we were linked with. All of these players, by the way. Livramento. Right?
Yeah.
Nathan Ake. Jack Grealish. Garnacho. Rashford. Tony. Locatelli. Right? Conor Gallagher. Manu Kone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All players that I've heard over the years, he's not good enough for Spurs. Semenyo at the beginning of the summer, by the way. Semenyo at the beginning of the summer. I know everyone now is creaming their pants about him, but
it wasn't that in summer, though, was it? A few months ago.
These are all players that our fans go, no, not good enough. But then we'll all sit and argue with me when I go, we need better than Gray and Bergvall.
Yeah, but it's just like you look at them and you think, you started the season off here, right? You said it in the summer, that left wing. That I would take Lubo. If Lubo had some boots here, I'll put Lubo in that position. That's how bad the options are on the left hand side. That is horrific. The left hand side, yeah.
I play Lubo
right,
up front. I play Lubo up front.
Yeah, do you know what? It's either the left wing or up front. Both of them are bad as each other. But yeah, we've got Mawani in there. So, but when I look at the left-hand side, yeah, and I'm thinking that might as well just have a cross on it because whoever wants to play out there plays out there because none of them inspire me on the left-hand side. And because of the left-hand side being compromised there, the right-hand side now is easy to double up with Kudus because while there is no threat on the left-hand side, and this was my issue in the summer when we bought Kudus. I said that he'll be frustrated very soon because he's going to realize that wherever he plays, yeah, he's going to have the shackles on him, and he's never going to have the freedom. And even if he does get the football there and passes it to ahead of him, that ball will just come back because none of the forwards will hold on to the ball, so he'll just grow frustrated after a while, like he was at West Ham, and then you'll see Kudus of West Ham where he just says, you know what, I've got enough skill here and enough talent in me that I just want to go somewhere where they're going to be rewarded with something at the end of it because I'm looking at the team and I'm thinking, you are massively compromised. And you said 15 players, Savo. I think I wouldn't go as far as that, but I would say there's about 10 players that this team needs here to compete. And that's not even like certain positions as well that need to be filled. Because if you don't have them functioning, it doesn't matter what system you have playing, it ain't gonna work.
No, I agree. Look, listen, let me do some... guys, I'm so sorry about the members only show. I will get one early next week. I promise, Monday or Tuesday or something. I promise. I just got a few bits to do today. Listen, let me do some super chats and then I will send you over to Football Link with Johnny and Sean. Big up to Atavatron Wembley. Thank you very much. I said, morning all. I hate the way we go into big games and I'm more fearful of how badly we could be beaten than whether we actually have a chance. The shadow cast by Levy's legacy will be long and dark. Look, 90 minutes, anything can happen. And I think that's the kind of football cliche we need to hold on to here. Yes, Arsenal are big favourites. Yes, Arsenal should win. But you never know. As I said, Atavatron, I will take a point right now if you offer me. Big up to you, my man. Big up to D&B Forever, always here with the super stickers. Really appreciate you, mate. Thank you very much, D&B. Very generous indeed. Very, very generous indeed. Big up to Robertino said, why anybody doubts the only club to do 4 in a row blows my mind. It's hilarious, but I get people don't watch City apart from versus Liverpool. City is miles clear of last season. Our squad actually has actual winners. I agree. I agree. I think Man City, I think it's just those little defeats every now and then that come from nowhere, like Villa, that you need to iron out. I think once City iron that out, I think you'll be right up there and I think you will win the league. There you go. Sorry, Arsenal fans. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. Very generous. You've come back in again. Very generous. So whoever claims Bottle FC squad as the best with a backline of 0 winners are hilarious. Also, Loserpool FC, 500 million and worst title defence. I think the difference is when you look at Arsenal 1 to 11, if you look at them 2 players for each position, they are mighty strong. Now, whether or not they can get over the line and be winners is a different question. But they have got, come on, mate, they've got, I mean, Arsenal can put out 1 back 4 of Timber, Gabriel, Saliba and Calafiori and a second back 4 of White, Mosquera, Hincapi and Skelly. I mean, that's scary. Most teams couldn't. That's scary as options. Big up to you. Big up to Finn McMullen. Said, I stand by the 3 at the back, but the squad needs at bare minimum another wing back in order for the system due to Udogie fitness and Spence not a wing back. I completely agree with you, Finn. As I've said, I'll always say the same thing. I've got nothing against playing wing backs, but you've got to have the squad to be able to do it. I don't think you can do it with 3 fit centre backs and only 2 wing backs. I think you've got to have options. But big up to you, my man. Appreciate you. Big up to Ryan. Very generous. Said, question, if we got Endrick on loan and Madrid paid all his wages, would you have him on loan for the end of the season? This is to everyone. And Torres from Barcelona, would you take him? I think with Endrick, it's difficult because this kid 2 years ago at 16 was played out as the best young 16-year-old in the world, hasn't really done anything. Now, again, he's a kid. I'm not sure I'd want to go and loan another 18-year-old to solve our problems. For me, I'd be annoyed, if I'm honest, because what would happen is Endrick would come in, and then every time he doesn't play well, all you'd hear is, but he's a kid. No more kids. I don't want to loan any more kids. Ferran Torres scores goals. I think Ferran Torres, for me, I've never watched him and gone, wow, but the bloke gets goals. So I'd probably take him above what we've got. Yes, I would. Big up to you, Ryan. Very generous. Stephen has said, Lubo is right. Arsenal have the same problem with the stench of Arsene Wenger. I'm not sure you do. I mean, Arsenal have spent £1 billion since Arsene Wenger, maybe more. And no, a lot more than £1 billion. You think you've had Emery, you've had... Oh, no, sorry, I can't hear that. Sorry, mate. I'm not having that. Big up to at AMT. He said, average players will come unless they're not bought. Average players will come unless they're not bought. I don't know what you mean. I mean, all average players would sign for Tottenham. Of course they would. Most clubs, but I don't quite understand that. I'm so sorry. Dean Law with a super sticker. Thank you very much, Dean. Really appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much. Always very generous, as is Paul Langley. Very, very generous. Thank you very much for the super sticker, Paul. Thank you very much. Big up to Craig Fenner. Said it's quite simple. Frank is doing damage limitation with the team he has. Our fans are just in a fantasy world. Give him time to build, idiots. Bang on. But this doesn't sell. Mate, that doesn't sell on YouTube. Everyone wants clickbait. Everyone thinks, but tactically, we're better with a 3, we're better with a 4, we're better with a 5, we're better with 1 up front, 2 up front. Got to have the squad to do it. Big up to you, Craig. Thank you very much. Big up to Andy. Said no members show. Still love you, mate. Big up. I'm so sorry, dude. Love you too. I promise Monday or Tuesday I'll do it. Promise. Thank you. I really do promise. And big up to Jordan. Always very generous to me. Thank you so much. So Tottenham Hotspur is a football club, not a nursery. Bang on. We have enough young players. We have to wait and see if they develop. Bang on. Not only are we stockpiling kids, we are spending millions on them, wasting our transfer budget. Bang on. This is my point.
Yep.
Everyone talks like this is a training ground for youth players, right? This is, if you want a training ground for youth players, partner with a club in Europe somewhere, the way Chelsea did with
Vitesse Arnhem.
With Vitesse Arnhem. Yeah, Chelsea partnered with them, sent players there. Look at Chelsea and Strasbourg. If you want to do this, right? If you want to do this, absolutely get a feeder club, send them there. Stop using our first team as a breeding ground for young footballers. I completely agree. Big up to you. Thank you, Jordan. Very generous.
I don't find it unfair, Sava. I'm going to say this now. Yeah, I find it unfair for the fans who have to pay to go watch Tottenham, yeah, and pay a decent amount of money as well, you know, like Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans, yeah, to watch Spurs, yeah, stockpile kids, yeah, and basically treat the club as a nursery. I feel bad for them because really and truly, you should not be paying the same amount as Arsenal, yeah, who have higher expectations than you, and Chelsea as well. They've got high expectations to Tottenham, so I don't understand where that logic works. And this is why I boycott. I said, I'm not doing that. As a Spaniard, I'm not paying more than an Arsenal fan to watch Tottenham Hotspur play. That doesn't make no sense to me. Unless I have the expectations of an Arsenal, yeah, where I'm going to go for the league. Why am I paying the top money in the league to go watch my team play? I'm not doing that. I love my club, Tapper. Don't worry. I love my club. But I'm not going to be there to be whipped by my club. It's not happening to me. That's just me.
No. By the way, just quickly before we end, Tom Barkley has said this. He said, Kolo Muani trained today for Spurs and could play with a mask. Thomas Frank also reveals Papa Sarr and Bergvall are fit and available. Kudus and Gray both trained. Radu Dragusin is very close to being fit enough to be selected. Still no Dominic Solanke. So some update there. Listen, Philly, thank you very much. Thank you to Angus. Thank you to Lubo. Thank you to Manny as well. Guys, I'm going to send you over to Sean and to Johnny at Football Inc. When you get there, please say Sava Raid or FHTV Raid. Please subscribe to Blockbuster Movies, Games and Television as well.
Hey, look at that. It's learning. I was going to say, big up to Kate Rickman. I know you are. You love me, Sava. I know you do. Big up Kate Rickman.
Oh, my God. Take care, everyone. Much love. When you get over there, just say FHTV Raid or Sava Raid. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.